Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It is Watford versus Manchester United in the Premier League. How are we all doing? Christmas is upon us. It's a time for goodwill and festive cheer. You wouldn't know that, but it is. So I hope you're doing very well. I hope everything's going well for you. And I hope that Manchester United can deliver 3 points for Manchester United today. Because I think ultimately this is what is the most important thing going into this Christmas period. And we've got some winnable games. And the team is out. Pogba's on the bench then. So we've picked the team exactly right, haven't we? It's the team that's on there, which I predicted it would be. So no changes from the team that drew with Everton, I think, correctly. With De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof and Maguire, Luke Shaw, Fred, McTominay, Lingard, James, Rashford, Martial. So look, I'm not shocked by that team. I'm not shocked by that team at all. Pogba on the bench, which in the grand scheme of things, not too surprised about that. Look, Pogba on the bench is probably more than we thought we were going to get. So it's not a negative, is it? It's a positive. And look, I'll give you my honest opinion. I personally think Paul Pogba makes a difference to a team when you start Paul Pogba. So if Paul Pogba's not starting, then maybe it doesn't make a huge amount of difference to our chances today. But having said that, he is an option off the bench. And Pogba on at 80 minutes, says Ewan. Yeah, I think if Pogba was starting, I would have been a little bit more excited. But I still think that Rashford's in the form of his life. I still think that if we can, I think Watford's defence you can get at. But I think that the battle will be in the midfield, of course. So on the bench, we've got Romero, Ashley Young, Matic, Pogba, Mata, Andreas and Greenwood. And I've got to say this, and I will say this right now, so that, I have predicted a draw today, but I agree with Sheraj Mahmood. Mason Greenwood should have started today. I don't get that. I don't get why Mason Greenwood's not starting and Dan James is starting. And I like Dan James. I do like Dan James, but I would have started Mason Greenwood because I think over the last 3 games he's probably been our most prolific player, and I would have picked him. I mean, Jason Harris says it's a crap bench besides Greenwood. Yeah, I mean, look, are Andres Pereira and Mata and Matic exciting? No, but Pogba and Greenwood are. So, Pogba is on the bench, Raheel. Pogba is on the bench. Thanks to everyone who's saying well done on 600,000 subscribers as well. We did that live on air last night, so please smash a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes on the video quite quickly. And make sure you do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, the United Stand. Live every night at 8 o'clock. Fan cams, match reaction previews. Got some good stuff planned for you. And also we launched the website a couple of days ago as well. So make sure you're checking out theunitedstand.com. Hi Mark, already made my day with you streaming, says Spencer Grigel. Well, that's a nice super chat there. Remember, you can do your super chats through the $sign, and you can also join the United Stand Members Club by clicking the join button. Thanks for all your support. Lots coming up in 2020, by the way. We've got at least 3 meetups planned, which we're looking forward to. So lots and lots. But I think it's going to be a great start to the season, start to the year for United. I can't predict what the results are going to be, but when I look at it, I think that that double header against Man City in January, start to the year, makes it exciting. You want to be tested. Wolves away in the Cup, New Year's Day against Arsenal, January transfer window. There's opportunities there for United. Whether they take them or not, we never know. This is our lineup for today on my left hand side. Yeah. So yeah, that is how we're lining up. We got, of course, we've got. What have we got? De Gea in goal and the normal back four. I mean, look, I don't think anybody's massively surprised about that. I think that there was a little bit of hope that we might pick Pogba, but Pogba's on the bench. That's the way it is. Have you seen Sancho to Chelsea for 120 million? Says Twatface. I'm drawn in by your name. Look, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is a little bit like Maddison to Manchester United or Fabinho to Manchester United. It's a fan theory, isn't it? Have the club ever said that they want Jadon Sancho? No. United bus hasn't arrived yet, says Elliot Cole. I had heard that, so the kickoff could get pushed back a bit. Watford will be up for this game. They're fighting for their lives, and teams who play compact and play for each other do well against us. Sad times, says Buster Nut. Well, look, let's go into the game with a little bit of positivity. the game hasn't even started yet. I do think it's going to be a difficult game for United. I do think that Watford, with their new manager, will be better organised. I watched Watford. Last time I saw Watford play for 90 minutes was against Arsenal, and that must have been October time. And I think Arsenal were 2-0 up at half-time, and they could have been 5-0 up. But Watford came back and got a draw and nearly won it. They created loads and loads and loads of opportunities. So it's interesting with Watford what they might do. Defensively, I think you can get at them, but offensively, I think they could be a threat. But we defend well. We do defend well, and there's a few people saying United are going to win 3-0. So that wouldn't surprise me. I've been forced into predicting a draw, of course, because I have numerous times predicted United will win these sort of games, and then they don't win them. So I'm doing it for the team. I'm saying we're going to draw in the hope that that means we'll win. Where in the United stand is the meet-up? Would love to meet you all, says Shaveen Pinto. Well, we will be in America next summer, but we just don't know where yet because the tour hasn't been announced. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Pack376 says, Gomez and Chong, if you love something, set it free. Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, look, you know what? There's a lot of talk about youth and future at Manchester United, isn't there? But look at that bench today. No Williams on the bench because he's gone with Young. No Chong on the bench because he's gone with Mata. No Gomez on the bench or Garner because he's gone with Pereira and Matic. So, look, you know, the youth never dies, does it? But with Ollie, he tends to ignore it. Yeah, Greenwood's on the bench. But I don't think... Let me just double check. I don't think even... Let me have a look. I mean, Twan Sebi's not even on the bench. I mean, he might be carrying a knock, to be fair, but I think Twan Sebi might be carrying a knock, if I'm honest. Rashmi Sinar says, when we beat Norwich, I thought this could be the start. Then we lost to Bournemouth. If we win, you're still confident about a win for Boxing Day. Well, Newcastle are doing very well at the moment. I mean, these next 3 games for United could quite comfortably be 9 points against Watford, Newcastle and Burnley. Maybe 12 if we beat Arsenal, but on the other hand, it could be as low as 4 points. You just don't know with United. And Tom Ball says, just home from work, beers in hand, food on the way, neuro massage booked for midnight. It'll be a good evening, made better with a United win 3-1. I don't know what a neuro massage is, but beers in hand as well. Good. It is that time. It's that time of year again. Would have loved to see Pogba to start in the CAM position as he can open up a game and create chances, says Sherich Mahmood. You know what, I think that's going to be such an interesting thing now that we've got Pogba back, where he will be played, because I've got this feeling that he will not play Pogba in the position. It's another fan theory, isn't it? It's a little bit like Jadon Sancho. I don't think we will see Pogba playing in that advanced attacking midfield position. I think I think Ollie likes to play him in the deeper role, to be honest. But where is Brandon Williams, says Krishan Patel? Probably at home playing FIFA. And do you think Lindelof makes too many mistakes, says Siam Matari? I genuinely have said this a few times. I think Lindelof... Look, whatever the future is... I'll phrase it like this. Do I think Lindelof and Maguire can be Premier League winning centre-backs? No. As of now, do I think Lindelof's playing better than Maguire? Yes. Would I drop Lindelof at the moment? No. I think he's been one of our better players over the last month. So... that's how I would answer that question. I think long term, I'm hoping that Twan Sebi, because he's got the pace, will take one of those roles, and you're looking at Twan Sebi and Maguire, to be honest. But I've got to be fair to Lindelof and say he's done well. Jordan Such says, my prediction is 3-1 United, although I have to say I was really impressed with Watford last week against Liverpool. I didn't see it, Jordan, so I don't know. I mean, and about Abisa says he would start Twan Sebi, but I think he's actually injured, mate. And Lingard has problems with his home life and everyone lays off him, but Pogba had the same thing, says Elliot Cole, with his dad, and everyone carried on insulting him. Agenda. There's a lot of agendas around at the moment. I think, look, it's going to be a very interesting day, because I spoke about this last night, and obviously we saw yesterday AFTV being attacked by their own fans. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the fan cams tonight. All I'd say is tune in for that, because there's a lot of noise on social media about people wanting to shut the United stand fan cams down, which I just find very sad. And there are a lot of agendas out there, and what happens is then people start saying it's racist, and people start saying, you know, it's tribalist, and it's top Reds from Manchester having a go at fans. I just think it's very sad. I've always said that the United stand is for real fan opinion. And when I say real fans, basically anyone who supports our club. I love having people who on the show who have been fans for years and years and years. Doesn't matter where they're from. I love having fans who are like, young fans who are just starting on their journey. That's what fan opinion's all about. So I just think it's very sad. There are a lot of agendas out there at the moment, but bullies won't prosper, and we'll keep doing what we do, because I've been doing this for 5 years, and we started off with 10 people watching, and now we've got 7,500 watching at the moment. And the reality is that we do always stay consistent, that we have opinions, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. That's life. Is our defence good? Only 2 clean sheets this season, says Jack Brown 852. And Christopher Liu says, if Haaland comes, Greenwood is going to be like Gomez. Well, it's an interesting thought. Craig Calamai says, what time do you think Ollie will bring in Pogba? Happy Christmas to you and your family from us in Chicago. Any plans for the holidays? Craig, Chicago just makes me think of Home Alone. Does it snow in Chicago every Christmas? Because I always think of Chicago, Christmas, snow, and all that jazz. But yeah, happy Christmas to everybody. I'm sure I'll get a chance to say it during the stream and in other ones. The plans for the United stand over Christmas are this. Obviously the match today, watch along, match reaction, fan cams. Tomorrow lunchtime, you'll get your normal Solskjaer right or wrong sort of assessment of the game at lunchtime. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I will be live. Then Tuesday's Christmas Eve. Got a couple of Christmas presents coming up for you in relation to content. We'll put a preview up on Christmas Day because we're playing Boxing Day. And then there's a live stream on Boxing Day for a watch along. And then, then we're into all the other games as well. So lots of content on the United stand. So make sure you subscribe and get involved. Just going back to that question about the defence, I think it's a good one. Apparently we've only had 2 clean sheets this season. What I would say to that is I actually think Manchester United defensively are good. I don't know what you lot think, but I think United are good defensively. I can't remember the last time we got smashed. I can't remember the last time we got absolutely smashed. Everton, was that the last one in April? It's certainly not happened this season. I think that when United lose, we draw games, sometimes 1-1s, 2-2s. In fact, we've done that twice this month, haven't we, with Villa and Everton. We sometimes lose games 1-0 or 2-1, but we don't get beat 2-3-0s. So I think we are defensively a lot better, yeah. Rashmi Sinar says, Mark, have you noticed that when Ali first came, created chances against teams that sit back? Ollie mixed up tactics sometimes too. Why do you think we can't create chances anymore when we used to earlier? I think it just comes down to the midfield, mate. I think that Fred is finding his feet. I think McTominay is finding his career. Like, he's a young player getting better. Lingard is just got no creativity, and neither's Pereira or Mata. So the midfield don't create enough chances, and the fullbacks don't create enough chances. Wan-Bissaka is brilliant defensively. He's not very good at crossing. Luke Shaw needs to do more of it. So there's a total lack of creativity from the width and from the midfield, which means that Rashford and James and Martial will score you goals, but they're not getting enough chances to score goals. A lot of what they do comes out from their own sort of creativity, if that makes sense. Tom Ball says the neuro massage is an erotic massage, Mark. Perfect relief after the stress of watching United. Cheers from Melilla. Hope James gets a goal. All the best. There you go. Informative and sexual. And the Booknut fan says, like I said yesterday, divide and conquer tactics get the fan base fighting amongst themselves and blame it on fan cams for teams doing bad, whilst the real problem stays in the shadows pulling the strings. I mean, look, you know what? I may have to repeat this later. And I may have to shed more light on this later. We'll wait and see what happens on the fan cams. But I'm ready, if anything happens, to call these bigots out. But what I would say about the Arsenal situation yesterday is you've got Arsenal fans after a game where they've got a new manager and they've drawn 0-0 and they defended really well. But Arsenal fans decide to go to fan cams and start chanting, "Get out of my club, Arsenal Fan TV, get out of my club." I've never seen Arsenal fans chanting in the ground, "Get out of my club, Stan Kroenke, get out of my club." So this is ridiculous. Like, you are chanting to get fans of your club out of your club, but you're not chanting in the ground to get the biggest cancer out of your club, which is your owners. It's ridiculously, it exposes these people as absolute idiots. I've heard people saying, "Get out of my club, nah, get out, we don't want ya." Well, tough. Democracy, diversity. You might not like everybody that likes your club. I certainly don't, but they support my club. That's just the way it is. Crack on. But you know what? if you had a little bit of, if you even had half the anger you've got towards fan channels and put it towards the owners of your club, you might actually do something. But chanting about getting rid of certain fans from your fan base instead of chanting about getting rid of the problem is just idiocy, isn't it? It's like screwing for virginity. Jay Singh says, are you hanging your stocking on the wall? Hope you have a good day, Mark. What's your score prediction? I tell you what, I'd love United to score a goal today, and I'll happily do a few Christmas song celebrations. My score prediction is going to be 1-1. That's what I'm going to go for, to be honest. Where's Man United versus Watford combined 11? Says Evmit100. You know what? I actually did think about doing one. Because there would be some Watford players that get into the United team. So the confirmed United team is the one on the left, as you can see. But let's have a look at the Watford team, because I'm a little bit interested in how Watford may line up for this game. So let's have a quick look and see. The Watford lineup, and they hopefully have put their formation as well. So Foster in goal, Kabasele and Cathcart centre-backs, Mariappa and Firmino, the other the full-backs, Capoue and Hughes, the holding midfielders, Decore, Sarr and Delafeu as their three, and then Deeney up front. So they're basically replicating our formation. What I would say is that Sarr on the right-hand side is super fast, and it will be number 23 against number 23, because Sarr wears 23 and Luke Shaw wears 23. Delafeu, probably one of Watford's better players, up against Wan-Bissaka. Deeney is a handful. Decore, I don't rate Decore that much, but he'll probably go and score a goal now. Capoue and Hughes, very, very busy. So I think Watford's front six is a threat. I think it's their back four that you can get at. Ben Foster tends to have a good game against us, so we'll have to wait and see how he gets on. But yeah, there's some good players in the Watford side. Christian says that Pogba's injury directly correlated to our creative slump and inability to break down teams. Even when he plays CDM, he's still able to be creative. E.g. lobs through to Rashford. Yep, fair point, well made. What are the chances that these people having a go at Arsenal fan channel were sent by their board? Well, you never know, Mojo. You never know. You never know. And Mr. Beast says, hi Mark, congratulations on 600,000 and have a very Merry Christmas. Want to shout out any firefighters out there, as we in Australia are suffering many bush fires. Yeah, well, shout out to the emergency services anyway, because I've done that job before, and over Christmas and New Year, you know, it can be one of the busiest times of the year when everyone else is hopefully having a great time. So big shout out to them. Congratulations, United stand on hitting 600,000 subscribers, says Mojo. Yep, thank you everyone. That number is at 600,000 in the top right hand corner. We can actually push it up to 601 today. We're pushing through, so please do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, and make sure you share the video as well. There's a share button. Share it on Twitter and share it on Facebook. That would be really appreciated. Interesting to see where Pogba slots in today, says Chavor. If he comes on. Sound like I'm rapping. If he comes on. Will Pogba be coming on? No, look, if he comes on, I actually think if he comes on, it depends. Ultimately, let's be obvious about it. It will depend on what the situation in the game is. If you're chasing the game, then you may well see a different scenario with Pogba, where he comes on. If we're winning, he might come on and just sit. If we're losing, he might come on and be more creative. Jay Singh says, what do you think of Sancho to Chelsea, reported by The Sun? Hope it's not true, but wouldn't be surprised knowing Woodward in the board. And welcome to Luca FLG, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Remember, there's a join button and a super chat button. If you want to do your super chats, you can do it through that. Or if you want to join the United Stand Members Club, you can do as well. In relation to Jadon Sancho, I would say that I think United are up against signing him anyway, because United have got as good a chance as anybody else, because I don't see Jadon Sancho going anywhere until the summer, because I don't think Dortmund will sell him till then. However, Chelsea have acquired players from Dortmund before in January who then join in the summer, i.e. Pulisic. So that you can't discount Chelsea signing Jadon Sancho. From United's point of view, Jadon Sancho should be exactly the sort of player that we're looking to bring in, and I think if we delivered the right package, he would. But I also think that the scenario is this: you've got to go and you've got to get Champions League football, haven't you? That's what you've got to do. So that's what Manchester United need to do. Lincoln Designs TV says, Mark, I think TalkSport organised those fans to start screwing with AFTV to generate the perception that proves fan channels are toxic, says Lincoln Design TV. I don't actually think they did. I just think they've muddied the waters and allowed some of these knobhead fans who are still very much tribalist hooligans to go and do what they always want to do, really, and then blame it on somebody else. Mark Rollinson, thanks for the super sticker there. Appreciate that. I think a few people have got problems with it buffering a bit. Just refresh it. Sometimes it drops out. We are live at the end of the day, remember. Mark, do you think Ollie is just a puppet, nothing else? Never will win anything and will cut slack for the players we all had a go at Mourinho for having a go at the players, says Elliot Cole. I think Ollie's just an inexperienced manager, and I think he will make mistakes, and hopefully he will learn from them. Cad says, Man United need to win the Europa League. It's tailor-made for counter-attacking against slow teams like Ajax and Inter. What do you think, Mark? Do you think we can win it? I don't think Manchester United and Arsenal are having that good of a season, really, are they? Let's be honest, they're not. But I'm just stretching my back. Don't worry, it's normal. It happens on a longer stream. But I also think that English football is the best quality in the world at the moment. So, I know that's sometimes hard to imagine when you're saying United have had a bad season or Arsenal have had a bad season, but I still think that they probably will be high up in the race for the Europa League. So yeah, I think United can win it. I do, Cad, to be honest. Pakala says that first time sending a super chat. Well done to the United stand. Big, Rents, Flex, Nuruddin, Saeed and Ricky. Much love from the Dominican Republic, which is in the Caribbean. Thank you for that super chat, Pakala. Really appreciate it. And Gurav Boss says, congratulations, Mark, 600k. My predictions for tonight, 1-1 till 70 minutes. Pogba subs in and provides a world-class assist for us to win the game. Well, that would be good. I think ultimately it's just about winning the game, isn't it? It's about winning the game. That's what we want to do. I think having beaten Spurs and Man City, we felt that things had changed. We knew Everton was going to be a big game, and we blew it against Everton yet again. The game that matters the most because it's against one of those teams that are going to park it against us, we blow. So I look at this and I think, look, this season's already I think we all admit it. This season's already been very, very tiring for us Manchester United fans because it's so inconsistent. You never can get comfortable. It's like trying to go to sleep on a rock, isn't it? You keep moving all the time. There's no relaxation involved in it, and that has made it hard for us. I just crave United to win the next 3 games. Not just because it's Christmas and it would be nice to be enjoying the festivities with United winning games, but also because if we don't do it, where are we going to end up this season? And I want us to do well. I want us to do well at United, of course. But I just wonder what's going to happen. And you can't keep making excuses about playing the likes of Watford and Bournemouth and Newcastle and Palace and dropping points. We just can't do that. So I can't say I think it will be a draw. I'm winking, but I think it will be a draw. But I think we've got to win, and we've got to beat Newcastle and we've got to beat Burnley. We've got to win these next 3 games. But I tell you what, how many of you would say it with any confidence, like we're going to win the next 3 games? And the reality is, I think if Spurs or Chelsea or certainly Man City and Leicester and Liverpool were playing Watford, Newcastle and Burnley, then you would say they're going to take 9 points. This is the progress that we're looking for as a football club, and this is the progress that we've got to find, and this is the progress that we're struggling to find at United at the moment. So I hope we can do it. We need to bloody do it, but it might not be as straightforward. It's not Dominican Republic, says Pakala. It's Dominica, Mark. Sorry, pal. Got you to super chat again, though. Thanks for that. Duncan Sal says, what happens if a centre-back gets injured early doors? Yeah, we don't really have a centre-back on the pitch, but Matic can play there and Wan-Bissaka can tuck in. This is pretty much your best team, just no Pogba. If you don't get a good result from Watford, then there's seriously something wrong, says Rohan Amir. I'm glad you've said that, Rohan. You're absolutely spot on. You're absolutely spot on. I said this morning. There's no excuses for United. Like, we've got nobody missing. Don't come at me with Eric Bailly or Delo or Fosu Mensah. They're not first teamers. They may not even get on the bench. So you're absolutely spot on. It is definitely as strong as we can be. Obviously, when Pogba's totally fit, he starts, but there's nobody else to come back. So there are no excuses other than the usual, let's hide behind time and the future. You've got to go and get something today. I think we would all agree with that. Mark, I sometimes wonder what inputs Phelan's giving to Ollie and Carrick. Phelan is extremely experienced, and I wonder how it is that experience helping our inexperienced coaching staff. And also Ross Gallagher says, must win game today, don't know why, but I'm feeling a Tony Martial masterclass today. Come on United. I hope so, mate. And welcome to Ilkan Hussein, who is the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. We've got nearly 10,000 people watching, people, so please do click the share button underneath. Share it. If you click share, you can share it on Twitter and Facebook. If you're on your phone, it'll allow you to do that if you're logged into Twitter and Facebook, and if you're on your desktop or iPad or game, it will let you do that as well. So please do share the video. Let's see if we can get up to 10,000 watching. I don't think there's been a delay in the kickoff yet, as far as I'm aware, but I think United were rumoured to be arriving a little bit late. So please do share it. And if you are new to the channel, that was something I was going to check on my phone as well. Let's see how we're doing for subscribers. We passed 600,000 last night. We're on 600,400 now. So we could change to 601,000. Let's see if we can do it on the stream today. Please subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. It amazes me that there are still new people out there tuning into the United Stand for the match chat. But you are very welcome. I think you're going to love it. We've got an amazing community. Lots of different opinion on here. Lots of different opinion. You've got Ollie in, Ollie out, shake it all about. You've got I love Martial, I can't stand him. You've got Pogba FC, Pogba we don't like FC. We've got we love Lingard. We've got we can't have. Every opinion's in there in the live comments, and I think that's the beauty and greatness of the community that we've built. There's so much different opinion in there. So we're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got fan cams after the game. We've got match reactions. We're live for every game. Transfer news. Absolutely loads of content. Got some really good. Couple of Christmas presents, I would say, coming up for you on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I think you're going to enjoy those. So yeah, subscribe, bottom right hand corner, smash a like on the video, and please share the video underneath. Mark, who has a high value in the market right now, Rashford or Sancho? By the way, love your content, and you put a cheer on my face every day. Keep it up. Well, that's a lovely comment from Ilka Hissian. Who has a higher value in the market, Rashford or Sancho? Sancho. Yeah, because Sancho's done it. I think Sancho, yeah. I would say Rashford at the moment is probably worth about 100 million. And I know people say that's stupid, but think about it. Young, English, proven in the Premier League, proven for England, 100 million. Jadon Sancho's probably 125. Rashford fantasy captain, come on, says Strutson. I tell you what, I used to do fantasy Premier League, and I think that if I was still doing it, I think Rashford is the man that I would. He's on fire at the moment, Rashford. Even in that game against Colchester, he missed a lot of chances, but he was getting in the right positions, and then he still got his goal, didn't he? So Rashford's on fire at the moment. So I think I don't blame you going for captain Rashford in your fantasy Premier League teams. But we've got to get the points today. And I agree with that comment before. This is the Manchester United's best squad that they've got. So yeah, I'm excited to see how we're going to get on. Just having a quick check on something. Let's have a quick look. I want to have a see if they've changed the kickoff time, because there was some talk that United were going to be a little bit late. Oh no. Yeah, there's nothing about that, so we will be kicking it off. Watford, of course, are in the bottom 3. I don't remember the last time Watford lost a game. Won a game. But I suppose the question as well is, should Pogba be starting if he's fit enough to be on the bench? I don't know what your thoughts are on that. We've got a couple of super chats coming in. Let's have a quick read. Course on building a Lincoln Designs TV says course on building a successful fan channel. Mark, I don't know whether there is a course. I doubt it. And Mark, I sometimes wonder what... I've read that one. And GSP says, I hate living game by game all the time. Nothing is a given anymore. It says more about mid-level teams improving than about us being poor. I know, I just want to... I do, as Manchester United, I just want us to start finding some consistency where we can go into games like this and you know... I'm not saying that we've got to beat Watford all the time, because there's no guarantees that you're going to beat Watford if they play well and they work hard. But I just want to see some design from United. I want to see United being able to go into these sort of games and playing a way that you know we're going to create chances. And I think at the moment we go into so many games and we worry, are we going to create chances? But I think it's a huge positive, by the way, that Pogba is back. I had no anticipation that he would be back. And if you look at last week, there was a lot of toxicity around Pogba. Oh, he's dancing at a wedding. Now he's ill. He's never going to play for us again. And I did a show about 2 weeks ago, and I said, look, I've been told by somebody at the club he ain't going to be sold in January. He will definitely play for United again. And people still didn't want to believe it. And it came out, I think, on Friday from Solskjaer in his press conference, exactly what we'd said 2 weeks ago. And he's on the bench today. So Pogba will be playing for United again, and he won't be sold in January. What happens in the summer is up for grabs. I mean, look, United might chuck silly money at him to keep him. I don't know whether that's a good idea or not, but I personally think it's better for Pogba to go and it's better for United to rebuild, but we'll see. Mark, what else does Greenwood have to do to start? Says Harry Ojo. Don't know. I don't know. I think Greenwood should have started today, to be honest with you. I absolutely agree with that. What time does the game start? Says Saras Wati. It starts shortly, mates. About 28 minutes with regards to the kickoff time. There was some talk about United being a little bit late, but that's not the case. It's still destined to be a 2 o'clock kickoff. So yeah, good. And it's not. We don't want it being put back anyway. But what I expect a tough game from Watford. I do expect a tough game from Watford. But I am going to stick with the draw, which is what I'd said before, isn't it? Thanks for the contributions, Sander Linard. Cad says, would you take Grealish in January to push for trophies, or wait to get James Maddison in the summer and win nothing this season? I would wait for Maddison because I think he's a better player. Other teams are showing urgency, changing competent managers, even buying players. Why don't we see such urgency, says Anshuman Achari? Because we've got crap owners, mate. This is apparently negative to say this. United have got crap owners. This is why we're so slow at everything. If you could only choose one, would it be Ollie or Pogba, says Loza Jr. I would choose Ollie. I think Pogba does need to move on, and I'm a big fan of Pogba, but I think the United experiment hasn't worked for either player or the club. So sometimes it doesn't, and you move on. I remember Sebastian Veron. I loved him as a player. It just didn't work, and when he left, I thought, it's right for him to move on. It's not about disliking the player. It's not about being abusive to the player. I just think it's just the way it is, isn't it? Be honest, Mark. Deep down, United are not good enough to beat a compact Watford, says Brentley Siddiqui. Well, I've predicted a draw, mate. So there's no deep down about it, is there? Ben Sewell says the website's fantastic, but the big question is there a United Stand app in the works? Keep up the good work, pal. I think apps are very, 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 very expensive, mate, and we can't afford an app. So Sage Mayan says, any news on the Haaland deal? Do we even need him with Greenwood on such hot form, Mark? I've given you my opinion on the Haaland deal. I think it will happen. Where is Rodney these days, says Kunos90. Don't know, probably somewhere with Del Boy. I haven't got a clue. Don't really give a shit either. Let's clone Wan-Bissaka, says Ross McGovern. And Mark, I'm all the way from South 6, says Richards Imran. Chris Smalling is our best defender, says Rukhsana Begum. Funny thing is, you're probably not that wrong. Josh Collins says Lingard again. Look, it's December. It's 2 years since Lingard was Messi Lingard. At some point, Lingard will do something. You can't, I think even if I played for Manchester United in the number 10 position, eventually I'm going to get a tap in or something, aren't I? Or I'm going to hit it well. Some point, Lingard's going to score, isn't he? He keeps playing all the time. So, yeah. What is the Watford team sheet, says Rukhsana Begum. I'm not going to go through it. Foster's in goal. Mariappa's right back. Cathcart and somebody else is centre back. I can't remember the left back who begins with an F. Capoue and Hughes as the two holding. Decore ahead of them. Sarr on the right. And Delafeu on the left with Troy Deeney up front. And Troy Deeney has missed a lot of games for Watford this season, and I do think that he makes them a hell of a lot better than they have been this season. What if we play Mason at 10? Number 10, says Pradney Wadke. Your thoughts? And Fabrizio Romano tweeted, Mandzukic to Qatar is done, says Sander Lillard. Yes, lovely stuff. Absolutely lovely stuff. Love it. I do not want Mandzukic at the club. That makes me so, so happy. What was that previous question about? Let's just whiz through. Mason Greenwood as a number 10. I'd probably play him there instead of Lingard, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Yeah. Deeney will score the winner, says Darkside Yoshi. I'm really excited about this game. I mean, look, I love football anyway. I love football at this time of the year, and I think that it's going to be hopefully a really fruitful evening or stroke late afternoon for Manchester. Well, it's not even late afternoon. The game's done by 4:00, isn't it? So yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that United can get a result. But I think if you were a betting person, the facts and the stats suggest it could be a difficult game for United. Should we bring Smalling back and let Jones go, says Rukhsana Begum. I don't think Chris Smalling is that enamoured with being a backup centre-back. So I don't think Chris Smalling really would come back to Manchester United and not be a starter. But I'm very happy that Mandzukic, the Croatian Peter Crouch, is not coming to United. I did have concerns about it. But look, it's a positive. I'm wondering if they're going to put the kickoff a little bit back here. And I would have started at Greenwood today. And I think Dan James is very lucky to be starting. I really do like Dan James, but I also think Dan James is almost, if he's not on fire, which he isn't at the moment, he's almost perfect to be coming off the bench. So I think Greenwood should have started. Can Bruno Fernandes and Pogba play together? Says Karen Bansal. We ain't going to sign Bruno Fernandes, so I think that I'd forget about that one, to be honest with you. Mandzukic is going to Qatar, says Jevin. Yeah, I've just tweeted about that. My score prediction, Corbin Lee Aspen, is 1-1. Why does Ollie not change tactics, says Dignified? Because I think he's only got one. Bruno and Pogba would only work if Pogba plays CDM role, which is pointless, says Chris, Man United Cooper. Well, look, you know what? Let's hypothetically throw that up there. Can Pogba and Bruno Fernandes play together? Yes. I think if you had a Kante as a CDM, then you could just play Pogba and Bruno Fernandes as box-to-box midfielders, definitely. But we haven't really got the CDM to allow them to do that. Cad says, I love Dan James, but he's stat padding with lucky assists. How can we get him to replicate his earlier form? I believe he can be devastating if developed. Yeah, I think this. I've said this before. I really like Dan James, but I don't know why he's just seen as a first teamer. Like I always thought, £15 million from the Championship, it's going to be a slow burner. He'll play a few games here or go to the bench. So I would have started Greenwood, but everyone's got their different opinions. Highbury, we've already spoken about the AFTV out chance. I think it's a disgrace, really. And who is on the bench for United, says Rikshana Begum. So Romero, Ashley Young, Matic, Mata, Pereira, Pogba, Greenwood. Thanks to everyone who's saying congratulations for 600,000 subscribers. Couldn't do it without you, so please do subscribe and keep sharing the video as well. We are hopefully about 20 minutes away from kickoff, he says. United did arrive a little bit late, but I don't know whether that means they'll put the kickoff back or not. Some would say they probably shouldn't do that because it's down to the players and the club to get themselves there on time. But it has happened in the past, so let's keep our eyes and ears open on that one and see what happens. Yeah, definitely. But we got Paul who's going to pop on for a few minutes and give us his thoughts as well. We've also got a new member from Akash Singh Parina. Welcome, pal. If you want to become a member of the United Stand Members Club, there's a join button if it's available in your country. When you're doing your comments, you get a little badge next to your name. You get access to our not super chats. You get access to our emojis as well. Wand of a left foot now belongs to Mason Greenwood as well. If anyone can just whack that emoji on there so people can see it. Paul, can you hear me? I'm good, thanks. How are you? Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and yours. Glad tidings and all that. What do you think about the lineup and how are you feeling about the game today?
Of where we need.
Sorry, Paul. I've just got
players.
to interject there. Can you? I had you on mute again. So I said to you, "What do you think about the team?" Just start again.
It's the as I said, it's the best thing we can put out. I think we're all aware of where we need better players and where we can improve. Now it's time for Ollie and the team and the tactics that hopefully have been worked upon over the week to be put into action and to finally start breaking down teams that we know are going to sit back. So Mason Greenwood is a big miss for me. As one of the guys in the comments said, what does he have to do to get 90 minutes?
It's not something I'd noticed when the team first came out because I was more thinking about Pogba. But then, fair play, a lot of people in the live comments started talking about it, and I think they're absolutely spot on. I don't see what Greenwood's done to get dropped when you think, well, he basically stopped us losing last week against Everton. Without him, we don't get anything. And then the game before that against AZ Alkmaar, he won us that game. And you're basically dropping him for what he did against Colchester in a Carabao Cup game. I mean, look, these Carabao Cup games, then I remember with Sir Alex, they're very different mindsets. Your first team is based on the Premier League. And I don't see what Greenwood's done not to start.
I don't see what Dan James has done to start either. No offence to Dan James, but he's had not a great couple of games. He's still effective, and he still puts the fear of death in the defenders. But, he hasn't been exceptional to keep Greenwood out. So he hasn't blown everybody away saying you can't drop Daniel James. So, in my opinion, this is the best time possible to bring James out the team, give him a rest, say, listen, we're going to put Greenwood in on the right because he's clinical finisher. I don't think Dan James will take that badly. I think he recognises that he's best when he can run into space. So do we, so does Ollie. Greenwood's a clinical finisher. He's saved us some pain in the past few games, and it just seemed like prime time to bring Greenwood in and drop James. And I think everybody would have been happy. James for the last 20 minutes when Watford started to get tired. Tactically, it just seems a no-brainer, Mark. I don't get it, really. But this is Ollie, isn't it? He's got his own ways of doing things.
Josh Sutton says, excellent work on 600,000 subscribers. Pleasure to see you every game in your updates, news and discussions. Keep up the amazing work. Thanks again, mate. Well, thanks for that, Josh. And that's from everybody involved in the United Stand, moderators, fan cameras, everybody. It's a fantastic team effort and we keep growing. So keep subscribing, bottom right-hand corner, and keep sharing the videos as well. Everybody's welcome here. We don't start attacking our own fans saying your opinion's not valid, I'm better than you. Every opinion's welcome as long as it's not abusive. So welcome to the United Stand. And we do get a lot of people watching who aren't even United fans. They just enjoy the content, which is fine because that's diversity. That's what it's all about. What's your score prediction, Paul, for today? Do you think I think if I remember last week when we were talking about the Everton game, you were a little bit concerned that we would drop off after Spurs and City wins, and we did. This is the typical sort of game where people would probably be quite right to predict United will lose this, but there seems to be a bit of a positivity in the live comments from what I've seen. I've gone with a draw.
I'm always positive, Mark. It drives me crazy. I always get to this point and think, we're going to do it. We're going to turn it around. I did last week. I predicted 3-1 to Manchester United, and then we put out a similar performance to we have prior to the wins that we had against Tottenham and Man City. So 1-1. I'm going for a 1-1. I don't think we can afford to lose this, though, Mark. If we can't win games like this, if we can't, after Ollie's been in charge a year now. Now, a year is enough time to, figure out that we're good on the counter, but also to bring in a plan B. Even though the players aren't good enough to play tactically, ticky-tacky, keep ball, they're decent players. And we've got a good squad of players. They're not excellent in these improvement, but we're good enough to be able to implement a plan B against the team that doesn't come at us and leave space on the break. 1 year, Ollie's been in charge of this team. He's had a pre-season. He's had a transfer window. I need to see something different. I really do, because I keep getting positive towards the game and then disheartened when we kick off against teams like this to see nothing has changed. So I need change, Mark. I need a plan B. So if we don't counter today, I need something tactically to say we can break teams down.
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be... Watford are the big unknown. I mean, look, it's not an ideal game, but we should be beating them. But it's not ideal because they are a team that's got a new manager in. Cad says, Mark, in all honesty, do you think Liverpool have knocked us off our perch with their trophies recently? No. The Mucknut fan says, do you think we could see Greenwood in the 10? He has assists in him. I'd like to see that for one game. And Ashley GR says, James would have to play 9 to exploit his pace in the last 20. Other United forwards would be too tired to keep up with his pace. Greenwood suits pressure play. Well, Greenwood can get something out of nothing. Look, Ollie's the manager. I think you're right there, Paul. I mean, Ollie is the manager. And welcome to Halvard Goldbridge, who is the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. You can do that by clicking the join button. Welcome to you, Halvard. But, Ollie is the manager, and he may well think that Greenwood off the bench is the right way to go. But I suppose this just feeds into the rhetoric that, there are big question marks about Ollie and his way of playing. And I think that, in this game today, if you think United are going to win it, if I was Watford, because we watched that Colchester game on Wednesday. Colchester defend really well, or was it Tuesday? I forget. But they defend. I think it was Wednesday actually. They defend really well. Then they have their best attack of the game, and 30 seconds later we've scored because they've left space at the back. If a team leaves space at the back, I think you've said yourself, you can't. It's not all bad about United. Our plan A, if it works, is electrifying. I mean, look, we beat Man City. Leicester went 1-0 up against Man City and still lost 3-1. So, we got ahead of them and we stayed ahead of them. So we do defend well, we soak up the pressure, and then we're ridiculously good when there's space to exploit at the back.
Said it last week, Mark. Best counter-attacking team in the Premier League by far. We are terrifying. If you leave space, we are terrifying. But I've said it before in the comments. Counter-attacking football is not brave football. It's what you're doing is you're waiting for a mistake, or you're waiting for other teams to commit themselves using their game plan and leaving numbers at the back short, so we can outnumber the players with our pace and then score a goal. I know it's boring to break down, but that's not brave football. We don't apply our tactics in a game and dominate the opposition. And I don't know how far that will take us if we don't get a plan B to be able to do that, or even a plan A to be able to do that. And a combination of, counter-attacking football along with dominant possession-based football, which I think we need if we're going to get anywhere in the Premier League and move up the table. And to be able to sustain that sort of momentum to get up and challenge him for the top. So, counter-attacking football, I can't see us winning huge amounts with counter-attacking football. If Ollie can bring something else in with it, then I can see us progressing. But I don't think counter-attacking football is sustainable, personally.
Well, no, I mean, and what I would say is whether you're Ollie in or out, or you're still like, let's just see what happens, which I think a lot of people are now, which is probably where I am, to be fair. Change is coming. Whether you want change or not, change is coming at Manchester United. It's absolutely inevitable because you're right. You cannot win. You cannot win a Premier League, and I don't think you can even get top 4 with counter-attacking football, because counter-attacking football has been around for ages. I was saying this last night. It's been around for ages, and there are no teams that have won counter-attacking football Premier League titles apart from Leicester, which was a ridiculously weird league where everybody was underestimating them and still playing the same way against them, and it was like, oh, it's only Leicester, and then they won the league. United are not going to win a title with counter-attacking football because football's changed, and teams attack way more and they're much better at it. So he's either going to have to, for him to be successful, he's got to change and find a plan B, or he will be sacked. So the change is coming. There's a question for you actually, Paul, from MUFC for Life. He says, question for Paul, could plan B literally draw Watford out, etc. wide and push our central players forward and high up, or keep narrow? Look, the ideal way to approach Watford today, I think this is where we struggle in these games when you think about West Ham, Newcastle and Bournemouth specifically. United will be given the ball by Watford and they will look to counter us. So we need, how would you do? I mean, I think the big problem with United for me is the width, like MUFC for Life says there. Because Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka don't put enough good crosses in and we haven't really got somebody to get on the end of them, our best form of attack against the low block is to use the width, I think, because we haven't got a number 10 to be creative.
Yeah, but we don't use the width, in my opinion, very well because none of our fullbacks overlap. Saying that, Luke Shaw gets a lot of stick for not overlapping. If you keep an eye on Luke Shaw, he does overlap a lot. He tries the 1-2s and he runs into space. He doesn't get found.
I think that's because, just to jump in there, because I don't know what you might say, yeah. Rashford's on fire, but he's bad at seeing. He will rather shoot from 35 yards than play the overlap run from Luke Shaw in, which is a frustration sometimes.
I've got a ton of respect for Rashford, and he's got bags of ability, tons of it, and he's a fantastic player. But his decision making, his overall game, it needs work. He needs to be more intelligent with the ball. He needs to see runs and stop shooting with a knuckleball for 35 yards. Luke Shaw, his interaction with Luke Shaw is pretty poor. Luke Shaw gives him the ball a lot, but then he wants to conquer the world. He's fantastic, and over time, hopefully, his football intelligence is going to grow because he's only still a kid. But in moments, he is amazing. But his overall body of work, in terms of including other players, needs a little bit more for sure. But Luke Shaw runs a lot down that left. His crossing's poor, but he gets into the positions. He doesn't get found. Aaron Wan-Bissaka never overlaps because Daniel James is so quick. So we don't have that interchange between our fullbacks and our wingers. All it is the wingers attack, and the fullbacks don't really get much chance to overlap, creating an overload or pulling players out of position. Tactically, I think we need to do better there as well. But our front three are terrifying. If we can get them playing today, I reckon. We'll give them a good go, but we'll see.
It's interesting on that as well because I think Rashford has answered the critics in the right way. I think the critics, and I was one of them, were right. He was playing very, very poorly from about February to October, and now I think he's actually one of the form players. I would even say in Europe, he's been absolutely fantastic. And he could be key today because you do just sometimes get players. We saw it with Lingard 2 years ago, where they just having you can be a good player. But you can have a stage in your career where you're just on fire, and Rashford's on fire at the moment. But he doesn't have a relationship with Luke Shaw. He doesn't play the fullback in. Luke. I think Rashford sort of. I don't think he believes he's the next Ronaldo, but he has that sort of mentality of a Ronaldo where he's he just wants to do something every time he gets the ball, which is exciting. But I think Martial and Shaw had a good relationship, and I thought Shaw played better with Martial than he does with Rashford because Martial knows when to hold it up and play the 1-2 or play the player in. He's more of a team player than Rashford. And it is something that Rashford can definitely learn. And I agree with you. I mean, I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw, but I think Luke Shaw does make better runs than Wan-Bissaka, who I think is awful going forward and can get better, but he's a much better fullback defensively.
He is defensively the best fullback in the league. And Luke Shaw does make a lot of runs and doesn't get found, even though when he gets the ball, he's not very effective with it. For sure. And Rashford's the most frustrating player in the world. I'm getting a lot of pelters criticising Rashford, but you can criticise his overall game. He's an elite player, technically, but but he's not quite elite mentally yet with his intelligence. Martial is elite in both, but I think he does need to put a bit more effort in when he gets despondent. He needs to get over that and just push through, whereas he can get a little bit deflated sometimes. Whereas Rashford's intelligence will improve, but Martial's intelligence is fantastic, and he can use the ball brilliantly. He shows that. But again, our movement as a team needs to be better as well, finding space. But hopefully that will come when we get better players. I'm clinging on to the hope that when we get better players, that's what Ollie's waiting for, to improve our tactics. But we'll have to see how we do today, Mark. We'll find out in the first 45 minutes how good we're going to be. And then if it isn't good, then Ollie's got to change it, and it's in-game management again.
I don't think we can be fourth by Christmas, Ahmedarad. It would have been nice to do that. But just finally, Paul, because we are getting a little bit close to kick off, 5 minutes away. Looks like it's going to be on time as well. Players are in the tunnel. We did have that opportunity to be top four by Christmas if we'd beaten Everton and we won today. Obviously, Watford today, Newcastle, Burnley, Arsenal. Then we go into January, which I think looks very exciting with the Man City derbies, the transfer window. But I think we are. Look, I don't think Ollie's in any danger of being sacked this season, regardless, really. But we are in danger over these next 4 games of just slumping into a. I think between now and that Arsenal game, you've got 12 points to play for in just over a week. That could drastically change our season, or we can continue to be stuck in like second or third gear. So today and the next few days are really important for United.
Yeah, very familiar to last season though, Mark, at the end of the season where top 4 was available and we kept on falling short because we were coming up against teams, we just couldn't break down and beat. Very familiar in terms of our chase, because it was last season everybody was dropping points and all we did was exactly the same, drop points with them. Now, we seem to be doing the same this season. We've got to move out of that, we've got to better that. We've got to start beating teams like Watford. We haven't kept a clean sheet for 12 games either, Mark, with £150 million spent on the defence. So clean sheet today would be great with a win. That would be signs of improvement where we can take that through Christmas.
BGG says it will be interesting to see if Pogba comes on in the 10 role if he does come on. But very interesting. I think that will be dependent on the game. Maybe we'll pick up at that at half time. Paul's going to come on at half time again. But thanks for joining me before the game, Paul. What was your prediction again, just so I can remember myself?
1-1, mate.
Oh,
unfortunately.
1-1 as well. Yeah, I've got 1-1. Okay, we'll get you on at half time, Paul. Cheers for that.
Cheers, buddy. See you in a bit.
Speak to you in a bit. Paul there, who is Paul Robinson, one of our moderators, who do a great job on the stream. So thanks to the moderators and Paul. You can interact with them on the live comments, which reminds me, actually, please do share the video. You can share it underneath. It's on Twitter and Facebook. If you click share, you can share it on your Twitter and you can share it on your Facebook. I'm just going to shout out people who have shared it because I know who shares it. So Sally Mitchell shared it. Alan Majorbanks shared it. Maria Treadaway shared it. Original_Dave MUFC shared it. Roy Reese 120 shared it. Akansha Seelan shared it. And Kyle Wilcroat has shared it as well. So it tells me who shares it on Twitter, basically. So thank you to all those people. You can share it through the share button underneath. And please do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. We're trying to get up to 601,000 subscribers today. Hit 600,000 yesterday. So subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Get involved in the United Stan community. The best Manchester United fan community, because all opinions are welcome as long as you're not abusive. You can be Ollie in, Ollie out. You can be Pogba in, Pogba out on here. As long as you've got a fair opinion and it's not abusive, you're welcome, because that's what football fans and community are all about. Jordan Such says, knowing one of Spurs and Chelsea will drop points today, if not both, it would just be United not to beat Watford today, says Jordan. Look, we've got to take care of business today. I think one of the main things about United is that there is no excuses today. There are no excuses to be had. This is our best squad available. Ollie said he was happy with this squad coming into the season, remember. Pogba isn't obviously fit enough to start, but he's on the bench. He is an option if things aren't going well. There is no excuse not to beat Watford today, even though people probably aren't expecting us to do it. So let's see how we're going to go. Kickoff is upon us. I will start the timer as soon as it kicks off on my screen here. We'll have a little bit of a back stretch. Everybody stand up, stretch your back out. It's good for your back to stretch it and relieve the pressure. And let's get it on. DJ over Greenwood for now. Greenwood, when started, looks 18, says Cobros Aitken. So he is pro playing Dan James today. Watford's team looks strong, says the equaliser. We're about to kick off. Let's see how it goes. I don't know today. I've gone with a draw, which is always a sit on the fence, isn't it, when you go with a draw? Could go many different ways, but we're up and running. The kickoff is there. And Gaming Fan says, Greenwood should be starting. Can't just keep starting James because he's fast. Greenwood can make something out of nothing, which is what we need today. Croatian Peter Crouch is going to Qatar, by the way. Mandzukic, Fabrizio Romano has said that Mandzukic is going to go to Qatar, which is good. And the timer's wrong again. It keeps doing this. I do reset it. I apologise. This happened yesterday as well. I do reset the timer for every game, and then it just keeps kicking off from the old time. So let me just get this right for you. Bang. Right, okay, it's right now. Thanks for the person who let me know in the live comments. It's right. 32 minutes have gone already, says Bonson. Yeah, it's flied by. But it's Watford on the ball at the moment. Be interesting to see how Watford approach this game. I mean, would they be stupid enough to play on the front foot and leave space at the back? We'll wait and see. But it's a early throw in for Watford. Ollie looking a little bit pensive as usual. But that midfield battle will be important, of course. Deeney. There's a chance to put a cross in here, and it's going to... Wan-Bissaka's got to deal with it. He lets it bounce in the box. That was a little bit of a mistake by Wan-Bissaka early on, but it shouldn't be too costly because Watford... Well, they're still on the attack at the moment, but we've got plenty of players back. Never let it bounce in the box. I was surprised by Wan-Bissaka there. You should never let a cross bounce in the box. And it bounced over him as well. Tyrone Williams says Jesse Lingard should be sold in January. I hope he scores a hat-trick, Tyrone. Because we'd probably win if he gets a hat-trick. We're definitely going to win, aren't we? Chris says we need to sit back the first 10 and see if we can hit them on the break. And Wan-Bissaka wins the header that time. And again, Watford having all the ball in the first minute or so. And it's gone out for a throw-in. I want Martial to score 2, says the Fortnite Gamer. Well, there's a few people who've said that. A few people have gone with that. Gomez should be on the bench for Mata, says Ames Adamson. I think, as I said last night on the United Stand show at 8 o'clock, I think that Gomez could be off in a couple of weeks. Congratulations on 600,000 subscribers, says Top Bins 1 Flumus. Thank you, pal. Thank you for that. Max Kingdom says, come on Watford, even though I support Chelsea. Come on Spurs, even though I support Man United. I do think Spurs will beat Chelsea today. I'd be very surprised if they don't. But here is Lingard and Shaw doing a little bit of a 1-2. But United in possession, a little bit slow. This. I mean, it's very early days, but if you're watching the match at the moment, this is what frustrates me about United. We get the ball, and there's nothing doing ahead of Harry Maguire. So he goes sideways to Lindelof. And there is nobody showing for the ball. And Lindelof is there, played a good ball into Martial, which allows him to turn. And Lingard, just not quick enough. That was good play by Martial, and Lingard's just not quick enough. But the ball was good there. What's that? Oh, where's he got that from? Oh, they got one there. Alright, thanks. Hot chocolate. Back of the net. All fan channels need to back each other against fans and media like TalkSport who are trying to stop us having our say on football clubs, says Stephen Featley. I'll drink to that. My fresh hot chocolate from my beautiful wife. Hot chocolate. Hot, hot, hot. Somebody just said that Fred's injured. I don't think he is. He's just about to take a free kick. So you're wrong, David. Any more of those fake things and the mods will deal with you. Anyway, United have got an opportunity to whip a cross in here. Let's see if somebody can find Harry Maguire. Fred. Nope. I was talking about this yesterday. I did a couple of watch-alongs on Mark Goldbridge, That's Football, yesterday. I did Everton versus Arsenal and Leicester versus Man City. And the amount of people in the modern game who can't beat the first man from a cross absolutely amazes me. Absolutely amazes me. Sadiq says there's too many sideways and backwards passing. I love hot chocolate, so I will be drinking this. Tyrone says Mark's blessed getting a hot chocolate bought for him. They always taste so much better when you're not expecting it as well. I think it has got marshmallows in it, Patrick Silk, yeah. My score prediction, Reza, was 1-1. Yeah, 1-1. Steady start. 5 minutes have gone very, very fast in this game. It doesn't feel like we've had 5 minutes at all. Shaw should put away the Snickers thicker than mud, says High Elf Legolas. Well, I won't be reading super chats like that in the future because I just find that very unfair and abusive. But Dan James has got a bit of space down the right-hand side here. The cross is good. It's into Martial and it's just wide. That's good from United there. Good half chance for Martial, shoots wide. I would describe it as a half chance. But again, United showing that on the break, super fast. But it's a half chance. So United look, I think it's been a tasty start. United have looked the more threatening side in these first few moments. McTominay's just been tackled very easily by Hughes. Now Delafeu into Sarr. I don't know why De Gea's got his hands up because he can't be offside. Back post. Corner. I hate to see players putting their hands up for offside when it clearly wasn't offside. Watch it here. Oh, it might have been offside. I think if he'd scored, it would have been offside. And again, this is something I hate about VAR because if we scored that goal, if they'd scored from that, VAR would check it and he would have been marginally offside. But because they don't score, the corner is given. Yeah, it was offside. I apologise. But I don't actually like it when players put their hands up for offside anyway. Leave it to the bloody VAR. You don't need to put your hands up for offside because VAR will show if it's offside. Just play to the bloody whistle. Anyway, corner for Manchester United. Let's see if they're going to do zonal marking, which I hate again. Will Hughes will take it. Again, doesn't beat the first man. My biggest pet hate is evident in yet another Premier League game. Players are paid hundreds of £1,000s a week. They cannot beat the first man. Yeah, it was hard to tell if that was zonal marking on that corner because it was so congested. It probably wasn't zonal, to be fair. So, good to see that they've dropped that. We need to. Watford launching a long throw into the box. Cleared by Luke Shaw. Fred with the opportunity. Oh. So what, McTominay's had a bit of a shaky start, but we won the throw-in. Who's better, Deeney or Rashi, says James Munich. Oh, come on, you're having a laugh, mate. You're having a laugh. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate you and the team for reaching 600k and I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you as well. Clearly not the real one because you wouldn't be watching the United stand when you're managing Manchester United from the touchline. But it's still 0-0 in this game, 8 minutes gone. Half a chance for Martial from a decent break. I'm quite encouraged by United's start so far, to be honest with you. But it's relatively equal battle in the midfield. You just hope that United's quality is going to shine on through. Shreshit Banerjee says, shout out, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to Shreshit. Favourite cheese at Christmas, says JJ Tube. I like the Wensleydale grommets. I like the Wensleydale with cranberries in it. Nice switch of the play here from Luke, from McTominay into Shaw, who I think plays that a little bit early. There's time and space for him to move into there, Luke Shaw. I think he hits that very early. Who are the subs for Manchester United? So Romero, Ashley Young, Matic, Mata, Pereira, Pogba and Greenwood. But I think United are getting on top here at the moment of the ball. I'm not saying that means we're on top in the game, but we're getting on top of the ball. Watford keeping their shape. Lindelof, to me, looks better at bringing the ball out from Maguire because he's got that ability to play a longer pass. And this is good play from Martial. Unlucky, loses it. But Martial's looked pretty decent in his hold-up play so far. Pogba's back on the bench, Irish Gamer TV, yeah. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. We're trying to get to 601,000 today. And you can share the button as well. I'll shout out people who share it on Twitter because I can see who does that. Martial's in! Oh, he's offside. Oh, he couldn't get the shot off. But again, Martial's looking a threat. Ajmal Kusman says that the Sun says Man United missed out on Liverpool signing Mina because Woodward had no idea about a 7.25 million transfer clause. Your thoughts on this, Mark? I read this yesterday and I chose not to comment on it because I just don't, I think we can be a bit flip-flop as fans, and there's an opportunity to go, what a prat Woodward is, missed out on signing Mina from Salzburg because he didn't realise there was a release clause. But then the stories from the Sun. And I think sometimes, look, Ed Woodward is a bit of a prat when it comes to running Manchester United Football Club, but I'm not going to just believe something because it's a story in the Sun. So, look, if it's true, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think there's evidence there to suggest that it's true. Foster's cleared it there and Fred's got it. United looking all right at the moment. Lingard knocking it out wide to Rashford. He's got space to run into their defence. Full pace into the box. And he wants a corner. And he's got a corner. First chance for Rashford to get into the game. Fred's on fire, says Alex NG. He started off quite well. United have hit a short corner here. Whipped it in. Edge of the box. Watford will clear. Oh, they had a break. They had a chance there. Dan James knocked off the ball a little bit weak, and Watford come again. But they had a chance to play Deulofeu in one-on-one. Sarr and Wan-Bissaka reads it quite well. Quite a good pace to this game at the moment. Well done by McTominay into Wan-Bissaka. Back to McTominay. He's going to hit this long to Rashford. It's a lovely ball by him, and Rashford takes it down absolutely sensationally. Good tackle on Rashford, but lovely switch of the play by McTominay there, and the way Rashford takes it down, he's straight into his stride. So good start this from United. It's looking like a decent game. Fred's been brilliant so far, says Thomas. Yeah. Nice little ball in there to Martial. He can't hold it up. Yeah, I think Fred's been the standout player for United, well, on the pitch so far. Been really, really good. But Watford looking a threat. Here is, I think it's their left back at the moment. No, it's Sarr. And he tries to go at Wan-Bissaka. He reads it really well. And they've cleared it. Space for United to exploit. I don't think, I wouldn't go so far as to say, thanks to TTV HRV, I wouldn't go so far as to say that Watford are sticking back. Sun are shown for reporting firmly false stories, says Stephen Featley. Lingard is a ghost, says Giorgio Iona. Well, look, let's lay off the Lingard stuff for the moment, because he is, he's only as bad as Pereira and Mata, who we accept is bad. We're on 600,700 subscribers, so we're only 300 away from changing it to 601 in the top right-hand corner. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got fan cams after. I think the fan cams after the game are going to be very interesting. Will we get idiots chanting fan channels out? I hope not, but watch out for the fan cams later. Transfer news, previews, daily content on the United Stand. Get involved in the community. It is a great community. Call-ins as well. So have your say. Subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Stuck with Fred until the end, says Sam Wyburn. I think many of us always said about Fred, because obviously we do match chat live every time there's a United game, and we've discussed Fred many a time last season when he wasn't playing. And I think that it's with Fred, many of us always said he's not a flop until he gets a run in the team. And I remember saying it around March time when he started playing and he looked okay, and it was like, we've got to play him for like 10 games. He's got to be given like 10 games in a row. Then we'll know if he's a flop, because you've got to adjust to the team. You've got to get used to the team, used to the league. And to be fair to Fred, he's just got better and better with every game that he's played. Well in by Wan-Bissaka there. Beast of a fullback. But he is getting better with every game that he plays, Fred. I don't know how good he is. I mean, It's hot. I think this is one of the problems we have with Manchester's wayward pass there. I think it's by Luke Shaw and Deeney into Sarr, and I don't know whether Luke Shaw's pulled up injured here, or was it Luke Shaw who gave that away? It was a bit sloppy if it was. But it's not led to anything, thankfully. Martial, you see there, sprinting to press, pushing up Dan James and everyone else. That's intelligence. That's what he does off the ball. Watch what Martial does off the ball in this game today, because if he doesn't score a goal and we don't win, people will say Martial was lazy and crap. Just watch what amount of running he does off the ball. It was Rashford who gave it away, actually. Sorry about that. I knew it came from the left, but I was looking at Super Chat, looking at one of your channels at the moment. Bit sloppy with the passing, says Michael Clegg. Yep. But good pressing there from Fred. McTominay's got it. Oh, there was a slip-in pass to Dan James there. And McTominay's lost it, but Wan-Bissaka loses it. There's some crunching tackles going in at the moment. Brandon deserves to be in the squad. Pushed away, says Darshan Singhvi. But Rashford on it here. Sort of a shot cross. Easy catching practice for Ben Foster. Lingard's got lots of potential, says DP. And Luke Gill says, I don't think Lindelof's good enough. Well, to be fair to Lindelof, he's the player that when the ball's coming out from the back has got the ability to play the 40, 50 yard pass. Harry Maguire's good at bringing the ball out, dribbling, but that doesn't work against a low block. Thanks, Alex and Vandy Candy. Come on, James, make my day, says Shreshert. Watford on the attack here. They're in. Delafeu. I don't know whether he was offside. It's a corner. Well, I tell you what, they're doing something I was quite surprised. Not many teams do. They're actually trying to get at Wan-Bissaka, and Delafeu is miles onside here because of Harry Maguire, but Wan-Bissaka's tracking back to block the cross is good. Me and my friend are arguing who is the best right back in the Prem, says Ben Abbots. Defensively, it's definitely Wan-Bissaka. Going forward, it's Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you could combine the two, you've got the best right back in the world. Good game, says Denzel. It has been a good game. It's not boring. Cross comes in, easy practice for De Gea, and it's a foul anyway. So he does get the foul from that one, which he didn't get against Everton. So ball's in the back of the net for Watford, but it's a foul. Has our form changed since the Liverpool game, says Johnny Wilson? I don't know. We've still lost a lot of silly games, haven't we? Yeah, that's a foul. That is a foul on De Gea, definitely. It's been given anyway, but United passing out from the back here, which is a little bit dangerous, but it works out, and we've managed to play it out nicely. Lingard flicks it into McTominay, who's running into space, finds it out to Rashford, who's got a bit of space himself. Now Watford are winning it back. Watford are winning a lot of these balls back, though. I think that's the issue at the moment. Wasteful ball there. This is bad, says William. Well, I tell you what, it can't be that bad a game because we've had 20 minutes already and that's absolutely flown by. Joker says it's a boring game. I'd disagree. I think it's an intriguing game. I mean, look, United are not dominating it like you would hope. But I don't think any of us ever expected United to dominate these sort of games. It's just not what we do. Cleared by Foster there. Well won by Luke Shaw into Fred. Nice cushioned header there. Fred pass not good enough. And Harry Maguire wins it back. Get Greenwood on now, says Halley. Keep giving the ball away, says Michael Clegg. We are giving the ball away a lot. Lingard there. His pass wasn't good enough, to be honest. To Rashford, who's hurt himself. But Fred's won it back. It's a bit scrappy by both teams, to be honest. It reminds me a little bit of the Arsenal-Everton game yesterday, where in the final third, both teams were quite wasteful. Active Dan says we're crap. And Adam says that Rashford's going to score first. Well, Rashford just took a little bit of a knock there, but he's all right. He's back up and running again. Sloppy passing, says Jay Sanchez, yes. Oh, good covering there by Wan-Bissaka. And good defensive play. And a good tackle as well. That's really good play by Wan-Bissaka. Dan James has been chopped out. And that's a foul. By Capoue on Dan James. Brilliant play by... There should be a yellow card, that should be, really. It's very late. But fantastic play by Wan-Bissaka there. He literally won like 3 tackles in a row. So 20 minutes gone, 0-0. United have had to work hard in this game. Watford has certainly not given them an easy ride. We expected that. Not really any clear-cut chances yet. Half a chance for Martial in the first 10 minutes, but apart from that, not a lot. We seem to be getting down the left-hand side, trying to get Rashford on the ball, and he's done what me and Paul were talking about there. And again, that's a good... that's good play between Rashford and Shaw. We were talking about that before the game. Does Rashford see enough of these runs from Luke Shaw? And he does keep... I know some people don't like Luke Shaw, but he will get back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. He gets forward there. Rashford plays him in, whips across into the dangered area. There'll be people there saying, what a crap cross by Luke Shaw. It's not a crap cross at all. It's a perfect cross. Just nobody's anticipating where that cross is going to be. And there's the 3 players that should be getting on the end of that. Martial, Lingard and James. I've seen enough. Pogba for Lingard, says Jordan Such. And Saima Ashraf says the pressing of Watford on our back line is causing us problems. They are winning a lot of balls, Watford, from our back 4. Whether it's bad passes out or, getting caught in possession, it's happening a lot. Watford have been very, very energetic. 4-2-3-1 against bottom of the league is a joke. It is such a static formation. No movement in the final third. Poor in the midfield. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the only positive, says Ryan FTW. Well, both formations mirror each other. They're playing a 4-2-3-1 as well. So, hence, it's been quite an equal game. And again, United are going to be reliant on individual quality because we've got the better players. See, that annoys me from Fred. He wins the ball. He's got 20 metres of space in front of him. He waits for the Watford player and passes it back to Luke Shaw. Go fucking forward. And I think Fred's played well in this game, but it's a mentality block, isn't it? Go forward. Cross comes in. Lindelof does well. Maguire clears it. See, Luke Shaw again there. It goes backwards to Rashford. There was a forward pass to Fred. We slow the ball. This is ridiculous. This is exactly the problem with United. You win the ball back... Watford are out of position and we start passing in triangles backwards. There was opportunities to move the ball forward quickly. You're never going to score against the low block if you don't start moving the ball forward quickly. And we're just messing about with it at the back again. Sideways passing. It annoys me. And Shaw started that one, to be fair. There was a forward pass to Fred. He played it sideways. Fred did it as well a minute before that. He goes backwards to Shaw instead of going forwards on the ball. It's all this patient bollocks. That's better. Forward pass into McTominay. Now Luke Shaw's got the space. Needs a 1-2 there. Plays it forward into Lingard. Nice ball by Lingard into Shaw. Into Lingard. Rashford. See, this is better. Forward passing. I don't know what Lingard's doing there. Some sort of weird shot thing. Shot with an I instead of an O. Got to get some more fluidity and pace into our play on the ball, though. Look at Watford. I don't see Watford doing many passes around their back 4. They're all, they're giving the ball away a lot, but they're looking to move the ball a lot quicker than we are. Although now they are doing passes around their back 4. But to be fair, both formations are mirroring each other. 25 minutes gone. Thanks to Aidan Brown for sharing the video. There's a share button underneath. You can do that. Please do subscribe if you're new as well. Bottom right hand corner. 25 minutes gone. I'll have a look at the stats in a minute and see how we're doing. I would imagine it's around 50-50. Probably United having a little bit more of the possession. Martial into Rashford. Problem with this game is United look lacklustre, says MUFC for life. And Marky says McTominay and Fred are being pressed and Lingard is doing nothing to release them. Yet again, Lingard's movement is not so good. It's not going to be a shock if I said I'm surprised that Lingard starts games, but Pereira doesn't do a much better job either, to be honest. So starved of midfield creativity, says Alligator. So that means we need to buy a striker in January because he's the same nationality as our manager. That makes sense. Riddled with sarcasm, but I get what you mean. It's a nice ball by Wan-Bissaka into Dan James. And here is Delafou. They've got people queuing up. Deeney, good block by Luke Shaw. And Lindelof, and now De Gea will pick it up. But cracking tackle by Luke Shaw. And it's Watford on the break. Delafou skipping past 3 people and Luke Shaw cracking block. They look more of a threat than us at the moment on the break, though. Here's Marcus Rashford with it. Rashford will get a shot off here, I think. Well, he wants to. It's a good run by Rashford. And he wins a corner out of it. Yeah, you know what? To be fair, Rashford does have a similarity with Ronaldo. I mean, look. I say it with all due respect. It's a Poundland version, but he does have similarity to Ronaldo, I've got to say. The way he dribbles and stuff. Zero creativity in the midfield. Side-to-side rubbish, says Stephen Willocks. Agreed. And so starved of me. Yeah, we've read that from Alligator as well. Any manager that picks Lingard should be sent to Siberia, says Mika. Cross came in. I thought someone was going to get on the end of that. Watford did, and they clear. I thought it was a high foot by Lingard, and it was. It'll be a free kick in Watford's half. Demon says that Rashford's been poor and so has Shaw. I don't see why Luke Shaw's been poor. When Pogba comes on, do you think he goes CAM or CDM, says Jake Marshall? I think if the game's like this, you take Lingard off, don't you? Chris Williams, love what you do and the show is fantastic. Hope to share a chat with you and Flex at future United Stand events soon. Cowabunga. Yes, Chris, look forward to that in the new year. Thank you very much. Just going to stretch my back out. Otherwise, I'll get static back itch, like Matic. Oh, God. You don't want to get lower back pain. You know why I get lower back pain from football. 20 years of age I was playing on a Sunday morning pre-season training on very hard summer ground. Went on a great run past 2 people from centre midfield, and the 2 centre backs just sandwiched me, and they were massive compared to me because I was only 20. They basically squashed me up in the air. I went about 2 foot up in the air and landed full on my lower back. And I woke up the next morning and I couldn't move my neck. And my mum said, you need to go to the doctors. And I said, I'm not going to the doctors because I'm going to Magaluf on Friday and they'll probably say wear a neck brace and I ain't going on holiday with that. So I never went to the doctors. So I probably did myself some quite severe damage to my lower back that I never got sorted out. Lucas says it's a bit boring. Side to side, says Zaid Hamad. Well, look, if we nick this 1-0, we nick it 1-0, don't we? But yeah, again, I think we're too pragmatic on the ball. Foul by Fred on Sarr. Noel Ryan says, is Lingard the boss's son? To be fair to Lingard, who would you rather play, Mata or Pereira or Lingard? I don't think any of them cut the mustard, to be honest with you. I do like that Sarr. I think he's a decent sort of player at that level, Pop King. I don't think he's like a top 6 player, but he is a decent fast player. A lot of people saying they'd rather Mata play. I'd rather Angel Gomez play, but that ship has probably sailed, to be fair. Watford lofting one towards the box. Troy Deeney gets up. Fred will bring it away. McTominay and Hughes has been an interesting battle. What motivated you to start the United stand, says Dash and Singvi. I ain't got time for that in a watch-along, mate, but basically I just wanted to set something up where fans could have their say. Real fan opinion for real fans, isn't it? Which is anybody, really. Rashi is tainted his talent, but IQ has to be single digits, says Biggie Third. I hope he goes and scores a hat-trick now. Decent play by Watford. I think Wan-Bissaka's going to make that tackle. Yes, he does. Wan-Bissaka, is, for me, is now the best player on the pitch. Sam A, how does Ollie and the board not see that we are crying out for a creative midfielder? I like Fred and McTominay, but they aren't creative enough. I think you're right with that. And I think that Fred and McTominay would be fine if the number 10 was decent, but the number 10 isn't decent. Good hold-up play by Martial. Nice pass by McTominay. Fred knocks it into Shaw. This is good. Good phaser play from United. Is it Luke Shaw? That is a forward pass. That's good. What's that pass from from Rashford there? That is a joke, Marcus. We're on the attack and he whacks it back to the halfway line. It's like, your momentum's gone now. We've got to start again. Why have we got this in our head to be negative in our passing? Martial's got it in the box. He's offside. I don't get that from Rashford there. We have a good phaser play to get it to Rashford near the edge of the box, and he just knocks a 20-yard pass back to the halfway line. Like, it's got to be in the coaching. Keep possession. Just keep possession. Bollocks. Turn and run. Too much negativity in our passing. Way too much negativity. It comes down to the coaching. It really does. Are you telling me that Klopp and Pep couldn't train these players and make them play more on the front foot? So negative. Deeney, good block by Lindelof. It's annoying because I still think we can win this game, but the mentality the mentality needs to change. We need to be more on the front foot. And again, like Luke Shaw there, just takes a touch, passes it back to Maguire, comes into Fred. Will he pass forward? Slightly forward to McTominay. Everyone takes a touch before they pass it as well. There's never any first touch passing. Dan James, that's good, into Martial. Well played, Martial. Oh, unlucky. Go on, Wan-Bissaka. That's strong. Lovely play. And a goal kick. KT says, play it back, make everyone run in that direction, then pass the ball in. Martial gets it and scores. This is playing against the bottom of the league team, for God's sake, says Taggart 8. Are they bottom of the league, Watford? Johnny Wilson, what are your thoughts on De Gea, and do you think he has passed his prime and is being surpassed by Alisson, Ederson and Kepa? And I don't think Kepa's surpassed anybody. I'm Ollie's biggest critic, but Watford have been underachieving this season. I'm not surprised that they're defending well today so far, says Fitness Unscripted Sharath Kamath. Look, Watford's front six, midfield and everything. Oh, Lingard! This should be a goal! Over the bar. Bloody hell, Jesse! Jesse! I thought he'd got it there. He's through one-on-one because of Martial. Lovely ball by Martial. He's through one-on-one. He's just got to dink it, and he dinks it on the top of the net. Oh, what a prat. That is bloody awful. Really, really awful. He's got to score that. You're one-on-one. You've got all the time in the world to think about it. He's got to score that. The timing of the run's good. The pass from Martial's good. He gets it out of his feet. He does everything right. And then you want that to be falling to Martial. You want that to fall to Martial. What a chance. What an absolute chance that was for Lingard. And you know what? Do you think Mata would have scored it? Do you think Pereira would have scored it? This is the problem. I'm not just going to dig Lingard out today. The number 10 position at United is a disgrace. We should have brought Bruno Fernandes. We didn't. And I keep saying this. It's going to cost us every single week of the season. That is a goal. He's got to score that goal. And Ollie's showing faith in that player, and he's let him down. He's let him down. It's a golden opportunity. There's no excuses. It's not about half chances. That's a golden chance. That should be 1-0. It's a little bit fortuitous how the ball breaks to us, but then when Dan James wins it back, it's a lovely ball by Martial. Martial should have an assist. Lingard should have a goal. We should be 1-0 up. Simple as that. There's nothing else I can say. That pass from Rashford was really attacking laziness, but of course Brexit FC people will say Tony is lazy. Damiasi, Mark, you are almost as bad as us. Arsenal, this is predictable as Palpatine coming back as a baddie. And Daniel Brindley says, it frustrates me that there's nobody busting a gut to get in the box. As soon as anyone gets near the box, we stop and look backwards. Greenwood on. Well, it should be 1-0, people. Lingard just had a great chance, one-on-one. And I don't know. I don't know why. The thing is, he doesn't even have to lob it. He could just hit it. He can go a little bit closer, smash it at the keeper's legs, through the legs. It's frustrating when you get a chance like that and you miss. Very frustrating. He's got to score that. Got to score that. But we move on. Look, we move on. It's not a surprise to me. The number 10 position is almost invisible, whether it's Pereira, Mata or Lingard. None of them are good enough. Capue's just been booked for Watford for a foul on Lingard. Let's hope United can create another opportunity, because I think, from the first half, we've not been great, but we still look like we're a better team. Although Watford do look quite decent on the break. Good play by Dan James here. Into Wan-Bissaka. Watford have won it back. What's your best football manager formation, says Paul H. And Lindelof just fouled Troy Deeney. I think I do normally play a 4-2-3-1, to be honest, at the moment. No, I don't. I play a 4-3-3. I play with one holding midfielder. That's not a foul. He's given a foul on Luke Shaw. He's booking Luke Shaw for that. Whatever. That is a joke. This referee is bold. What a joke. Well, he's pulling him back a little bit. Luke Shaw in the book. I think this game is destined for Paul Pogba, to be honest with you. I think it was a foul. I don't know whether it was a yellow card. There was a foul. I don't think that's a yellow card foul, to be honest with you. I think he's very quick to give a yellow card there. But yeah, Luke Shaw with a yellow card against the pace of Sarr is a little bit worrying. I've said it's a foul. I said it was a foul. I saw it first time. I didn't think it was a foul. It is a foul. Anyway, Watford have got an opportunity to whip a cross in. And Maguire wins it. Well, that's what you're there to do, Harry. But Watford have got it again. 7 minutes to half time. Maguire clears it for a throw-in. Thanks for the contribution, Daniel Gielgast. Why are we playing a 4-2-3-1? We don't have a good number 10 and we have a good defence. It makes no sense, says Armand. Yeah, a lot of people have said that for a while. Hi, Mark. Why don't you go to the United games, says Michael Chapman. Oh, God. Why do I always get drawn into the troll comments? I mean, why do you think I don't go to games, mate? Have you noticed over the last 4 years we've done match chat streams with about 10, 15,000 people watching them? Oh, I know. I'll go and selfishly watch United games on my own rather than interact with a community that we've built over 5 years. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain that I don't get to go to many United games anymore because of this, but we do this. And for any idiot who goes, well, I'd just go and watch the games. Well, good luck. Well done with that. I choose to stick with a community. Cross comes in. Flicked header by Decore. And it's just wide. Half a chance, I'd say. Who's the best current player in the league, says Ricky916. Mane, probably. Van Dijk. Greenwood deserved to start over James. 2 holding midfielders against a team that has scored 4 goals at home. Ollie is inept. Here is Martial. Nice switch to Rashford. Now he's got an opportunity. He's got legs. He's got people to run out into the box. Does his job. Lingard. Corner. De Bruyne is fantastic at the moment. A lot of people talking about De Bruyne as well. Well, no, yeah, but I think De Bruyne has been brilliant over the last month. I think Mane's been brilliant and Van Dijk have been brilliant for about a year. So, but look, I don't want to get into those arguments. We'll watch it Manchester United versus Watford. Has he given a goal kick or a corner? He's given a corner. He's given a goal kick. He's given a bloody goal kick. He's given a bloody goal kick, everyone. Can't believe it. So, story of the half so far. Bit of an equal battle. We're 100 subscribers away from 601,000, by the way, so please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, if you're new to the United Stand community, I think you're going to really enjoy it. We've got 5 minutes to half-time here. It remains 0-0. Lingard with an absolute amazing chance. I don't think you can call it a sitter, but he's running through one-on-one, and he misses it. It's as simple as that. Bye, Anto Taylor. And does Ollie have any tactics or just go there and express yourself, says Joe Stanley. Go out there and enjoy yourself, I think, isn't it? There's a foul on Maguire here. Why is James starting over Greenwood? Says McNally145. And would you take Grealish over Maddison? I would, says Cam Chandler. I think we just need somebody who can play in the number 10 position, who's got a bit of physicality about them. I think that should be a yellow card on Troy Deeney there. He's stamped right on Maguire's foot. It looks a bit like a 0-0 game at the moment, but I think United, if we can get in front, I think we'll be all right. Wan-Bissaka, good tackle by Deulofeu. And they'll clear out. Cashel says, before the game, I'm always, why is Mark so negative? During and after the game, I'm like, Mark is the best pundit. Well, we've got a chance here. Lingard. Lazy cross. Watford clear it. United get it back now. Lingard don't want the 50-50. McTominay with a good tackle. Oh, that's lovely take. But they haven't got anybody. And Luke Shaw should head that back to Maguire. Why is that not a yellow card on Will Hughes when he booked Luke Shaw for exactly the same thing? Bold twat ref, that's why. I'm tired again. You know, watching United is tiring, isn't it? I come into the game, the first hour when we're talking about the match, I'm full of enthusiasm and I'm full of excitement. And then the game kicks off and United just exhaust me. The logo on your hoodie suits you. Thank you. Thank you. It's one of my favourite tops, to be honest. Right, it hit this McTominay. Oh, didn't get it out of his feet quick enough there. Should have hit it first time. Took a touch, allowed the block. Fred. To Shaw. To Rashford, to Fred. And that'll go for a throw. Come on, United. Come on, United. Let's try and find a goal out of something, man. Why, aye. Not enough creativity. Not enough creativity. Mr. Perfect through ball to Martial, so 619 trading. Look, we just don't have enough creativity on the midfield. Two midfielders in Jan. Zero creativity yet again from Manchester United in the midfield. I think Rashford, I think Martial's played quite well. But just approaching half time. I mean, Martial's up is you know, I compare Martial to Deeney and I think he's had a better game than Deeney. 1 against 2, isn't it? 1 forward against 2. I think he's done all right. Haters gonna hate. Watford have got a chance to whip a cross in. Well done, Lindelof. Might be a foul. Goal kick. So is he? How much is it? Well, Watford are on the attack again here. I don't know what United are doing. Troy Deeney's got to be offside there. He is. Bloody hell. Thought they were going to get a shot off. So, start talking about the half-time. It's coming in fast. Seymour Turner Jr. says we should all be mindful the current best footballing side in Europe struggled against Watford. I believe we'll nick it 1-0. And Kean Brady says, I can't remember the last time I was excited for a game. This is poison. Ollie out of his depth. Well, yeah, look, Watford were a lot better against Liverpool last week, to be honest. They still lost 2-0 though, but they did defend well. But to be fair, that's a different game, isn't it? Because Watford went to Anfield and really sat deep and hit them on the break. They've not really sat deep against us today. It's been a very different performance from them, to be honest. We're nearly at half-time. We are at half-time. So it's 0-0 at half-time. Jesse Lingard walking off. Just not good enough, Jesse. If you need to take some time off because you've got problems at home, take some time off, mate. Because at the end of the day, it's another substandard performance from Jesse Lingard. And I just start to worry now as to why we keep picking him. Because he's just not good enough. Is he the best of a bad bunch? I think that is a debate to be had. Is he better than Pereira? Is he better than Mata? Maybe he is, but ultimately just not good enough. A chance like that, you've got to score it. He's made the run. Martial's put him in. He's one-on-one. You've got to score. A top manager would sub Lingard and blast the lot of them at half-time, but Ollie doesn't have the ball, says the mystery man. And Zayn Miasi, Mark, do you think it was a mistake not to go for Ancelotti? After seeing Arteta conference, I think we have young Pep with hair in the making. Well, we'll sort of wait and see about that. He's not better than Mata, says Colin McDermott. Well, Mata would not have been able to make that run, Colin, to be fair. You're not going to see Mata busting a gut to run through one-on-one, are you? So the quality of Lingard to make the run, I think he's probably the right player to do that, but he's got to make the finish. These games that are tight are decided by moments like that. He's got to score that. And if Lingard's not scoring one-on-ones and he can't create and he's not physical, what is he? What is it about Lingard that makes him start for United, apart from being a youth player that everybody likes? He's just not good enough. But on top of that, I think that there's not enough creativity coming from Fred and McTominay. I think Fred played really well, and I think McTominay's been very well, but they're almost symmetry. They're both the same. They battle, they win the ball back, but they can't play a pass that moves the play quick enough. And if you haven't got a number 10 that's going to do that, that midfield is just starves the front three. I think Dan James has been busy without really doing anything. I'd say the same about Rashford. Martial, I think, has played better than Troy Deeney. He's fought against the two centre-backs. He's held it up. He's not getting much service, but I think Martial's done quite well. Back four, Wan-Bissaka's been brilliant again. Luke Shaw, I think, has been quite good. Picked up an unlucky yellow card, really, considering Will Hughes didn't get a yellow card for exactly the same foul 2 minutes later. Good block. He's got forward. He put a good cross in, but none of our forwards are moving again. Lindelof and Maguire have been steady. De Gea's not really had anything to do, but ultimately, for me, that's just about, again, the same old problems. We've learnt nothing again. Even if we win this game, we learn nothing again. It's the same old United. And what really irritates me about United is, and I've seen it game after game after game, we take a touch of the ball and we pass it, and then they take a touch and then they pass it. There's no speed on the ball. Everyone wants to take a touch, and 9 times out of 10 they're passing sideways or backwards. There's no momentum. I mean, there was that point in the first half where we moved it quite well from Wan-Bissaka to McTominay to Fred to Shaw. It goes to Rashford on the edge of the box, and his first time pass back to the halfway line to Harry Maguire, and you're like, we've just spent 5 seconds getting the ball from back to front into a decent position, and you just lazily pass it back to the halfway line where all Watford are back in position again. And this is what I mean. It's a tactical thing. It's coming from the training ground. You don't think that Pep and Klopp, given a week with these players, would get us playing more on the front foot. We're just so slow and lethargic, and that's not the players. This is training, and that's what I mean. Imagine, you know, as an experiment, you just gave Pep this team for a week to prepare us for Newcastle. You'd see a different focus in the way that we play. The same with Klopp. This is poor coaching. It's so pragmatic. It's so slow. The game is shouting out for Pogba, but we've been shocking, says Mojo. Christopher Liu says our off the movement is horrible. That's down to coaching. Exactly, I agree with you. Our midfield is horrible and James has been invisible most of the game. Meb3 says football gets in the way of Lingard's Instagram modelling. Charles Crane says, why do we only have urgency when we're down 1-0 in the last 10 minutes? No quick play, no coaching, Ollie out. Jordan Such says, it doesn't help when Rashford's on the edge of the opposition box, passes it back to the halfway line, which we've just spoken about. And Tim Z35 says, Jesse and James are shit attacking wise. Is any 2 players on the bench to replace them? Congratulations on 600k from Russia. Thank you very much. And Rune Stenson says, 1 year on the day since Lingard scored his last Premier League goal for United. Well, he should have scored. I mean, let's move on from it. I think we all know Lingard missed the sitter. He should have scored. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Pogba and Greenwood on at half-time. Lingard and Martial off. Says Samit Patel. What planet are you on, Samit? I mean, why would you take off? I'd love to get you to tell the world why you would take Anthony Martial off. What the hell are you talking about? Why would you take Anthony Martial off? He's playing up front with his back to goal, battling. What has he done wrong in that game? Again, it's a misinterpretation of what people's role is to say that. I don't get what you're coming at from there. For me, I would take Lingard off for Pogba. I would take Dan James off for Greenwood. That's what I would do. But I wouldn't be taking anybody else off. I mean, look, has Rashford had a good half? Probably not. Has Dan James had a good half? Probably not. But I think Rashford can create something out of nothing. I think Dan James is struggling in this sort of a game, to be honest with you. I've done the clock. Don't worry. Put Pogba on, says Jonathan Gallagher. Look, if Pogba's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to start, as far as I'm concerned. Neil Taylor wants a shout out. There you go. Martial's lethargic. Oh god, I'm not answering the trolls anymore. Somebody just say Martial's lazy as well, because you're just trying to get it so you get a shout out. Josh Sutton says Pogba in for Lingard at half time, Greenwood on for James, then Barn without kicking a ball. Martial has short ball service. Awful finish by Lingard. I've just seen it again. It's absolutely awful. He's got so long. It's a lovely ball by Martial. He gets it out of his feet. He's got the perfect angle, and he chips it onto the thing is, it's not even a hard chip. It's not a hard chip. You know, if you've got half a bit of technique, it's not a hard chip. Mark, I don't get what warrants Ollie more time. We're just going to be more poor. Poch needs to come in now. Far better match play and player progression, and that's coming in from the Musk. Thank you for that. Paul is in the live comments on Discord as well. We're just going to grab what Paul thinks. What makes you think Pogba will be any better, says Gary Wells? Well, I think that's a very, very important point, actually. And welcome to Rahul Nayak, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. You can do that by clicking the join button. Paul, can you hear me?
Yeah, mate, you're right.
Yeah, a lot of people. Well, I want to get your thoughts on that half, but also I think it's a fair point as well. Why do people think Pogba's going to be the magic weapon? Because Pogba in his United career has always been a 50-50 player, hasn't he? He's either brilliant or not so good, but I think for me, he can't be any worse than Lingard. Yeah.
What do we bring Pogba on for, though? We bring Pogba on to have a bit of unique individual brilliance to win us the game. Yeah, that's great, but are we going to have to wait for that unique individual brilliance every time we want to win a game? That's Pogba coming on will not solve the dynamics of the team that we have at the moment in terms of our attacking play, which is awful and stale and the same as it's been the entire season, and there's no improvement. And what are we backing at the moment, Mark? What are we backing? What
do you think? I mean, I've said it. Do you think it is tactical then?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's both. You can't just say it's completely tactical, but the stagnant movement, no overlaps, no links, no partnerships. The players don't look like they know each other's individual games. Even the chance for Lingard was a triple ricochet, landed to Martial, and then he played the ball through. I'm sorry, but if people want positives, I can't find any at the moment, because from the second game after Chelsea to now, we play exactly the same football and rely on moments of brilliance from Rashford, which he has in his locker, to win games. And it's not sustainable when the proof's in the pudding. Look at what we're doing at the moment. 0-0, no shots on target.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, Martial's been our best player on the pitch easily, says Joe Holdway, and I'm not gutted by the fact that Lingard didn't finish that chance, but his reaction afterwards, as if it meant nothing, poor attitude from the player. And Rahul Nayak, I think we've spoken about, you've been the latest member of the United Sun Members Club. I mean, look, just on the Lingard miss, I just think, obviously, we're aware that Lingard came out a week ago with these issues. I think we've seen Lingard play twice since then, and he's arguably been worse since he came out and said those issues. So, for me, look, if Lingard has got these issues, he gets the sympathy vote, of course. But now is the time probably just to say, go and take a month off football, mate, because even with everyone knowing your issues, you still know better as a footballer. And we've got to protect Manchester United, not Jesse Lingard, in relation to, we need to look after him, but there's ways to look after him. We don't need to keep picking him. He's not doing well. I just don't think he's good enough, to be honest. And this is nothing to do with abuse or anything like that. I just don't think he is a good enough footballer to play for Manchester United. And I think it really emphasises the problem with Fred and McTominay when you've got Lingard, because Fred and McTominay don't have the creativity. They're grafters. So if you don't have a number 10 with creativity, people start getting onto McTominay and Fred, and even I was doing it. You know, they haven't got creativity, Fred and McTominay. But it's not necessarily their job, but if you haven't got a number 10 with creativity either, it just makes that combined midfield look really bereft of ideas. And you know, it then leads to people getting on the back of Rashford and Martial. Martial will look better than Jesse at number 10, says Tim said 35. Let's read some of these super chats. Cipriano says Greenwood is not being rewarded for his good performances. Exactly, I would agree with that. Ayashiyama says the left wing has been closed down and the right wing is just not up to it. And Sam A says, I don't think people understand what Martial's role is. His role is to hold up the ball and link people into play. Does that better than anyone? I don't get, I mean, Paul, come back on some of the stuff that's been said there, but on Martial, I don't get the criticism. I mean, he's doing the role that Troy Deeney's doing, and I think he's doing it better. He would have an assist if Lingard could finish. Like, he's done his job very well against two centre-backs playing with his back to goal. He's fought, he's held the ball up, he's pushing the press forward when we haven't got the ball. I saw him shouting at Dan James to press forward. Again, I think that's spot on. People don't understand the role of a number 9 anymore.
Well, this is one of my complaints. Martial's had a fantastic game, in my opinion. I think he's been marvellous. I think he holds the ball up brilliantly. He lays it off well. He makes the right decisions. The only thing he doesn't do is what Greenwood does. He's not the fox in the box. He doesn't arrive at the right moment. Yeah. He isn't busting a gut to get into the 6-yard box when the ball comes in, like he should be when Shaw crosses that ball. But
yeah, that was a good cross,
also, yeah, it was sound. Yeah, if Greenwood was there, I reckon it would have been on the end of that. But if Martial lays off, other players have got to be running beyond him. You know, there's got to be link up, and they don't seem to be playing to Martial's strengths. He gets the ball, he looks up, he's got no one running beyond. You know, Martial can do a job, but he needs the movement around him, and our movement's awful. If you have a look, when we play the ball back, it gets to the defence, and then a defender puts their foot on it, and everybody just stops. And if you look at the entire team, everybody just stops. And, you know, there's no overlaps, no movement, no finding space. So that's why we're so slow and pragmatic getting the ball forward, because the movement isn't there in the first place. Now, if we can pick that up, I think we might get something. But, you know, I can see the second half panning out. It's going to be 35 minutes at 0-0, or we might go 1-0 down. The last 10 minutes, we go for it, and then we might get a 1-0, a 1-1. That's my opinion, because it just looks identical. I do notice during the game, Mark, when I'm watching it and I'm on here, I looked at last week's notes and this week's notes. They're identical.
I tell you what, I mean, Humi says it's frustrating on so many levels. It feels like what is a mid-table team battling a team in a relegation dogfight, both devoid of ideas and creativity. I think that's spot on. Watford are fighting a relegation battle, and I've said many times this season, we are a mid-table team. Josh Sutton says, don't expect Pogba to fix the team, but Fred and McSauce have established a midfield combo. And Dino Davil says, my daughter Shiloh says, happy holidays, Mark. Well, happy holidays to Shiloh as well, and your family, Dino, so thanks for that. But what I was going to say is, will we see you, I'm not doing any matches I don't think in relation to Blood Brothers anymore, so we won't see that again. But with regards to this game, I actually feel that United, well, I'm not allowed to predict a win because I jinx it apparently, but yeah. I actually could see United potentially winning this in the second half, because in my mind, I'm going to predict the future. I can see Pogba's Ollie's post-match press conference going, well, you know, we've got the game, smile on his face. But I do agree with you, even if we do win this, Watford are bottom of the league. There's just There's no progression, there's no change. It's the same thing every game. And even if we do change it in the second half and win it, when are we going to ever start a game with a change of a tactic? They're so slow, pragmatic, side to side, creative. It's clearly coming from the coaching ground. As I said, Paul, and everyone at home, I think if you gave Pepperty at this team for a week, you'd see a different United. That Rashford pass, when we've gone through a good phase of play quickly to the edge of the box, and he just lazily lumps it back to the halfway line. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you've got time to spin and shoot if you want, and he lazily just first touches it back to the halfway line. And I think we're drilled in slow possession. I think this is the coaching staff's mentality. Let's just keep hold of the ball.
It was the same under Mourinho. Very difficult to understand, but I think we're kicking off now. So fingers crossed for a fast 10 minutes and getting a goal in the first half. If we get that, we're going to win. If Watford score first, I fear for us. But come on, United.
I'll get you on for the last 10 minutes, Paul. All right, mate?
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, pal. Speak to you in a bit. Yeah, it is about to kick off second half. Let me just wait for it to kick off. I woke up early for championship level football, says Nico. Ref's only just coming out, actually. Black Boy says Ollie doesn't need 3 windows to make us look competent versus the 20th team in the league, by the way. No excuses. This give him time. Merchants can do one. Jordan Search, I may as well have pressed the record button from Newcastle and Bournemouth away. And Travis Johnson says that I hate the 4-2-3-1, but think Ollie plays it because we don't have a player good enough to be CDM in the 4-3-3. I don't know why he does it. Has he got enough midfielders to have 2 box-to-box players? Would be a more relevant point. I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? But we've kicked off for the second half. Let's see if United do come out. And also, a bit of positivity. Remember against AZ Alkmaar and against Colchester, we were poor in the first half and we were good in the second half. So we might see something there. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, by the way. We're about 50 subscribers away from 601,000. So just that number will change when we hit it in the top right-hand corner. It will change. It changes every 1,000 now. So it will change when we hit 601,000, and we're currently on 600,950. So we should do that in the second half. Please share the video. But let's see if United can get something done in the second half. No subs, says Edmu. Yeah, I don't really... Well, I don't know. Positive FC, says Dennis Curry. Yeah, let's see what we can do in the second half. I think the game's there to be won. I don't think Watford have been amazing. I think the game is there to be won. We've got the quality to win it. We just got to get the right mindset, really. I mean, Watford haven't really had a great chance, have they? But I think the mindset of United is a weak mindset, isn't it? We know this. You know, how do you get yourselves up for Spurs and City and then not do it against Everton and Watford? Liverpool fan from Canada. Happy Christmas to you all, says Steve Johnson. I bet you're having a happy Christmas, aren't you? You bloody Liverpool are doing very well at the moment. You've had to wait a long time for it, to be fair. Right, Rashford's got a bit of space down the left-hand side here. Into McTominay, to Fred, to Shaw. And Watford have won it now. And that's strong by Sarr, but a good tackle by McTominay. Welcome to Damien OS, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. You can do that by clicking the join button. And you're drawing to Watford, says Dylan Cohn. I don't know how you pronounce that. Kohn. Ollie has to have a better plan against teams that sit back. Until then, this is what we have to deal with, says Andrew Rossi. Well, when's he going to get the better plan, though, Ollie? Andrew? That's the question. When's he going to get the better plan? You know, how long does it take? Well, United passing out from the back here with Maguire. And then he just whacks it long. Weird. We try passing out the back and then we just blast it out for a throw-in. It's a foul by McTominay. Jack Minahan says, why are you so negative? I don't think I've actually been negative, Jack. Sorry if you think it is. I'm just talking about football and we've not been very good. Whatever. Everyone apologised to Jack. Apparently it's a bit too negative to speak about a team that's not playing that well. There we go. Marky says, I can see United losing this. Well, the one thing is we've defended quite well. We've not really given any goals up, any chances up. So that's always a good thing. Jack, a lot of people are apologising to you. There you go. That might make you feel a little bit more positive. Hughes with the cross. Well up by Harry Maguire. Saw. Oh, no! No! Oh my life, what's De Gea done? What has De Gea done? He's bobbled it in like Michael Jordan. He's hooped it in. What is he doing? He bounces towards De Gea. He goes to catch it and catches it against the bar. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Stung by the Scorpions. Or the Hornets or whatever Watford are called. They've stung us here. I mean, it's a cross by Hughes. It's a flick on. Sarr hits it and De Gea's fumbled it in. I don't care what anyone says. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm not doing that to David De Gea. My son's just walked past. They're going out. But, oh, it's a clanger. It's an absolute clanger by De Gea. There's nothing you can say about that. It's just, what a time for that to happen. It is, it's sickening. Absolutely sickening. It's a freebie. It's the biggest mistake I think De Gea has made in his Manchester United career. Right at the start of the half. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. Decore's just been booked for Watford, but they've had a free. We've just given him a freebie there. I don't care what anyone says. That's just harsh, harsh, and all your plans go to waste. Well, we've got a chance to put a cross in now, in a similar situation. Fred. McTominay, oh, I tell you what, I thought Ben Foster for a minute was going to do a similar thing. McTominay on the back post, not the greatest of headers, but it nearly went in. Well, it didn't really. I'm being optimistic. Don't worry, I haven't left in protest. I am just... I don't... This is the danger. This is the danger with football, though, isn't it? This is the danger with football because... thanks, Zayn Miassi. Look at him, rubbing it in. William says there needs to be a sub made right now. Absolute shambles from this team. I think you're spot on, William. Justice O, Mark, I always respect your opinion, but Luke Shaw is useless. He literally has no football IQ. That's why Mourinho couldn't stand him. I think you're going in on the wrong player, Justice O, but it's all about opinion. And Damien OS says, was watching your Colchester coverage at 4 a.m. in Hong Kong from hotel with no match live. Back home in Ireland for Christmas. Thanks. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas, Damien. What? A penalty? I didn't even see it. I've just sat down. What? I didn't even see the penalty. You're having a laugh. I've just come back into the room. What's going on? What's the penalty all about? I'm sat here settling back down saying we've got to get back into it. What was the penalty all about? I can't believe this. Deeney scores. Jesus Christ, it's Christmas, isn't it? It's bloody Christmas for Watford, and it's Deeney who makes it 2-0. I tell you what, this is ridiculous. I don't even know what the penalty was for, because I just went to get a quick drink to calm myself down after a De Gea mistake, and Troy Deeney makes it 2-0. I didn't even know we'd conceded a penalty. I can't even comment on what the penalty was all about. He goes straight down the middle, and United are sinking so low now that their feet are being tickled by Kylie and Jason in Australia, if they even live in Australia now. Who's from Australia? Are Ant and Deck still there? The Australian rugby team, they are sinking so low. They are into their depths of despair. Nothing wrong. No, I don't mean Australia. It's on the other side of the world, but it's just I can't even give you too much of a comment on it because I don't know what the penalty was all about. I haven't seen the replay of the foul. I don't know what it was about. I literally just went for a little break to collect myself after De Gea's mistake, and United are 2-0 down after 54 minutes. 0-0 at half time. 2-0 down after 9 minutes. Ollie out, shambolic. To be honest with you, I don't even know. I don't know what happened on the penalty. Ollie out, he has to be sacked, he's useless, we will never win with his incompetence. Something's got to change both on the pitch and off the pitch, hasn't it? What was the penalty all about? Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. How do you concede a crap goal and then go and concede a penalty straight after? That's not the way momentum works. That's not the way momentum works. Rashford with a crap pass there. Michael Maystar says, I know he's been world class for years, but De Gea has been a shadow of himself for months now. I think he's lacking confidence. Zane's in again with his goal thing. Paul Gill, Mark, surely you have to admit now this result has to be the end of Ollie. Surely Ollie will be sacked after this game. Not a chance, Paul. Not a chance. Greenwood is warming up. I presume Pogba's going to warm up as well. It's 2-0 and Manchester United are staring down the barrel of, well, look, it's not even that, is it? It's not even defeat. We have come back from 2-0 down before. Let's not give up hope. We did it against a decent Sheffield United side, but more importantly, I don't think we're going to win this game. So it's going to be another game we don't win. Shocking, absolutely shocking from United, and I don't even know what happened on the penalty. I can't comment on it because I wasn't in the room. What a prat! But fucking just jokes. I'm trying not to swear here because I'm penalty to Watford. Sarr is brought down by Wan-Bissaka, and it could be about to get worse for De Gea. Wan-Bissaka then. I didn't see the penalty. I didn't see the bloody penalty. Zane's loving it. Yeah, but we're still 2 points ahead of Arsenal. Is Solskjaer still on his arse? He needs to make changes, even I'd change a few things, says Liquid One. We need to get Pogba on for Lingard now, and he needs to get Greenwood on for James now. Hit it, Scott! Good shot, good save. Hit it again over the bar. Bloody hell. Give him time, give him time. We're back in 89. Ollie out, says Christopher Liu. The ship has sailed and now we bring on subs. We don't have a manager, we have a cheerleader in charge as the mystery man. And Spencer Espinal says, consistency is what wins trophies. Show me where Ollie has shown that since he signed the contract. Well, it's just Greenwood coming on at the moment. And I presume it will be, well, it's for Dan James. Did I just see Ashley Young warming up, says Ryan FTW. Greenwood for James and Lingard stays on. I don't get that. I don't get that. And Lingard at the moment is the person who I think needs to go off and disappear for a month and sort himself out, because if he scores that goal in the first half, we're not even in this bloody situation. This is what I mean, though. Fine margin chances like that, you give them a sniff and they score. Pogba's warming up. Hard situation. I mean, Paul Pogba's been out for 3 months and we've got to chuck him into a game like this. You know, talk about desperately needing a player that doesn't actually even want to be here. And now you're asking Pogba, who's been out for 3 months, to come on and solve this mess. Ollie, after the game, we dominated the game. We were just unlucky. Wake up, mate. You're having a laugh. Tactics are a joke. Ollie out, says Jason Halab. Love Ollie as a legend, but not as a tactician. He's only got one plan. Should get Poch in, says Garrity. Luke Shaw driving down the left-hand side here. Not literally. He's obviously running. Harry Maguire, I just can't care anymore about this team, says Bogdan Gavrel. Bad players, weak manager and absent owners. No ideas, no plan, nothing from Man United and nothing from me. And Dazu W says Dan James was meant to be signing as an impact sub with better players on park, but Ollie happy with the squad. And Captain Hood says recent good results were a fluke. Normal services resumed at Manchester United. It's starting to kill my love for football. Hey, but everyone else, remember, there are United fans out there, like some Arsenal fans, who want to chant, get out of my club, get out of my club, United stand, get out of my club. Yeah, because we're toxic. We're really toxic on the United stand, aren't we? Football fans, United fans, Arsenal fans, we're really toxic, aren't we? You know, we really shouldn't be moaning about this shit that's being delivered by Manchester United Football Club. I tell you what, if you want to open your gob, why don't you start chanting about the real problems at Manchester United, like Glazer's out, Woodward out. But no, let's start fighting amongst ourselves, even though every United fan that's pissed off with this after 6 years has got every right to moan about it. But no, that's toxic apparently. It's my fault we're losing 2-0 to Watford. It's the United stand, it's Flex, it's Rants, it's all of you lot. It's all your fault that we're losing 2-0 and we're a banter club. Remember that. It's the fans' fault. Let's divide and conquer and attack ourselves instead of addressing the real issues, which is for 6 years United have got worse and worse and worse because we're run by bank managers who haven't got a bloody clue and we've got a shit squad. Simple as. It is Ollie out time, please, says Michelle, and it was a penalty. Lindelof was out of position, says James Lloyd. We've got an offside here. Half an hour to go. Let's be fair, has Rash been any better than Lingard, says Cobb Ross Aikens. I don't think Rashford's been involved in this game, Cobb, but would you take Rashford off or would you take Lingard off? I think with Rashford, he has got the ability to make something happen. Wan-Bissaka's missing 50-50s now, and they're in down the left-hand side. I tell you what, if they get another goal, it's over. But United have got people back now. Delafeu up against McTominay. Past him, and McTominay does well, and I think he's won a goal kick. Why is Lingard still on the pitch, is my question. He's just done another bad pass. And clearly Pogba's not fit enough, is he? If we can't get him, it's a corner. Look, we're not going to on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, will he be sacked before Christmas? No. Duncan Sal says De Gea is not world class anymore. Can't command his block, average with his feet, and never saved a penalty in his life. Mistakes creeping in. Oblak is levels above. Look, do we need to change our goalkeeper? Is that really why United are failing? I think you might have a point there, but is that United's big problem? I don't think so. Will Hughes smashes it wildly over the bar. Humi says we got everything we deserved. Had a feeling at half-time Pearson would be able to motivate more than Ollie, as it's an even game. Motivation and fight was always going to win this below-average game. I think you're right. I think they've wanted it more. And if you haven't got the talent, that's what wins games, isn't it? And United just look, bereft of ideas now. Alligator, does Ollie give Jesse a bottle of warm milk before bed too? I really can't enjoy my Christmas now. Disappointed to Sam. Okay. Oh, don't worry. I'll be enjoying my Christmas. I'm just going to go out and get absolutely hammered. Yeah, sod that. They ain't ruining my Christmas. Billionaires. And De Gea has saved us so many times. Fickle people, says Ryan. And welcome to Mr. Plan A. Kumar, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. And we have hit 601,000 subscribers as well. Thanks for everyone who is subscribing. Terrible pass by Maguire. And they've got Sarr on the far side here. And Fred isn't able to get back. It's Sarr into the box. Cut back. Maguire will get rid of that. We were lucky. Bar Spurs and City. Our league has our last win was Brighton. Says Luke 99. Will Hughes. Oh, tell you what. The Glazers are a virus, but Ollie is shockingly inept. We won't sign anyone in January, and Ollie will make matters worse. Poch in, says the mystery one. Pogba time. Pogba time. For Lingard, absolutely spot on. I feel sorry for Pogba. Let's see what he can do. Bloody hell. I mean, talk about a baptism of fire. We can still get back in this, as Matt Rush. We definitely can. And new low for us. Can't even beat bottom side. That's not won on their ground all season. Embarrassment doesn't cover it, says Mike Hill. And Joel Morris says, how can we beat City and Spurs yet we lose to the worst team in the league? Ollie will make some bullshit excuse after this. I hope today is a wake-up call for United. There's no excuses for United today. There is no excuses. We said it before the game. Lingard is a floating crisp packet, says Smash Hurst. And Mike Michel Lazarenga Shaga says, Mark, I totally agree with the board out for 6 years, but what can we do? They are sitting like octopus on our club, sucking the spirit out of the club. And David Dean says, we never win on Sundays. That's what's new. Why is Jesse Lingard starting? It's really concerning when we can't win against teams below us. United driving forward. United can get back into this game. A lot of it's going to be about how ready Paul Pogba is to play. Massively important player for us. It's a horrible situation to be thrown into. Let's see what he can do. We've got about half an hour. Cobb Ross Aitkins says, this isn't on Ed, it's our team, and 750 million not better than Watford, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Saints. That's not on the board. I tell you what, Cobb, I think you're right there. But what I'm saying is fans attacking each other isn't the way to go. I can play better than them, says Kasef Raul. I've got to be honest. I'm in a phase of shock here. I really did not expect this. I've done loads of match chat lives for United, and when we went 1-0 down with that De Gea mistake, I expected United to just be sieging the Watford goal for the rest of the half. Which is why I just went for a moment to get a sip of water and compose myself. I come back and they've got a penalty, which I haven't even seen why it was a penalty, so I can't comment on it. But they got a penalty, they scored the goal. I'm shocked. I did not see... I predicted a draw. I'm glad I didn't predict the win, because people can't moan and say, I've jinxed it. I predicted a draw. What do you want me to do? Start predicting losses from now on? But I'm shocked that we've put ourselves in this situation again, and I wonder how many times we're going to do this. We were behind to Everton, we got a late equaliser. We were behind to Sheffield United, 2-0. We nearly won it, and then we had a late equaliser to lose that. So we can come back into this game, but why does it take the last 20 minutes to come back into games? It's just a mindset's not right. A decent team plays for 90 minutes. They don't start playing when they go behind. And also, I think Watford are going to be up for this. This is what the Vampires in charge has done. Make us mid-table who can't beat relegation candidates Watford. But United stand are toxic, right? Cicero Blade 57. Oh yeah, we'll get blames. Quick MUFC, every game to mid-table bottom half teams who defend deep is the same. Losses to Newcastle, Palace. Shoot, Martial! Corner. Newcastle, Palace, Bournemouth, etc. We never learn from these games. I just look, if we draw this game, it's not good enough. To be honest with you, if we lose it, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say if we lose. But even if we draw it, it's not good enough. What's the excuses? Cross comes in, Watford win it. Greenwood puts it out wide to Rashford. Whip it. There's loads of men in the box. Whip that cross. Oh, Greenwood. Hard header wide. I wake up early on Sunday to see this trash, says Daniel Perez. "23 minutes to go. Ollie must be, well, I don't even need to tell people, do I? The team get up to beat Spurs and Man City and then take 1 point so far from Everton and Watford. It defies logic. It really, really does. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. But is anybody actually surprised? Well, I think that's the sad thing now. I don't think people are. Watford on the attack. Cut back. He should have scored. He didn't. Troy Deeney shoots. He's got loads of space. They've got a chance to whip a cross in, and he puts it wide. Bloody hell, United are living dangerously here. Living dangerously here. Mark, I don't understand why we want to keep changing managers. The team have had games like this for the last 5 years. I think manager doesn't matter. It's Woodward and Glazers. What do you think, says Jason Dean? Look, if I'm absolutely honest with you, I've said it so many times. The problem at Manchester United is the playing staff, the coaching staff, the fitness staff, the recruitment staff, the chief executive, the owners. Manchester United is a huge football club, and people think you can change the problem by changing one thing or buying one superstar. It is absolutely epidemic throughout the club. We get loads of injuries because our fitness department is crap. We get beaten in games like this because our coaching and our players are crap. We don't recruit players well because our recruitment and our chief executive is crap. And we are run terribly as a club because all our owners want to do is take money out of our pocket. There's multiple problems with Manchester United. And sacking Ollie and bringing Poch in won't actually change it. It might push us slightly up the league, but it won't win the title because we are not good enough on so many different areas. But what I would say at the moment is, though, and I agree with Cobb, is that, look, I don't think we can be successful with the problems we've got across our whole club. But there's no way that we're bad enough to be losing to Palace, West Ham, Newcastle, Bournemouth, and now Watford, and drawing to Southampton and Everton and Sheffield United. We're dropping too many points against teams that we should be way, way better than. Humi says, I'm at the end of my tether, mate. Seriously, I'm sick of us fannying around at all. I can't accept us losing. I can accept us losing. What I can no longer accept is being outplayed and outfought. Call a spade a spade. Well, yeah, Watford have been the better team in this second half. I wish I had a year of incompetence and mediocrity in my new job where I can consistently say I'm getting better. I'll be better next week, says Alligator. Well, yeah, we've made a ready-made excuse at United. Time. It's time. I mean, Ollie yesterday said there will be more bad results. Well, it just automatically allows bad results. Dazu W has seen an interview with Rooney and he said team was scared to lose because of Fergie. You think the team is scared to lose because of Ollie? No way. Well, no, we're not scared to lose, Dazu, because he says we will lose more. Why don't we play this team only against the top 10 teams and play like the likes of Chong, Gomez, etc. versus the lower teams? Can't get worse anyway, says Turby Toon. Not only does Ollie need time to beat Eddie Howe, Steve Bruce, he now needs time to beat Nigel Pearson. Has been in a job for about a week. Joke, says Jordan Such. And Humi, it was 100% a penalty. Wan-Bissaka did one of his Superman lunges as he does, and this time he came a cropper. Awful tackle in the box in that situation. Yeah, well, Wan-Bissaka has been a superstar for us this season, hasn't he? But those tackles are, normally timed to perfection. But, it's been one of those days, hasn't it? De Gea makes probably his worst mistake in a United shirt ever, and Wan-Bissaka mistimes a tackle, which doesn't normally happen either. Free kick here for Rashford to sort of, I think he'll shoot. Punched away by Foster. Throw in. 71 minutes. Goal kick. I think this is massively unfair on Pogba. This. McTominay off for Mata. Charles Crane, let's have a look what you've got to say, mate. Remember when Give Him Time was about winning the title, and how was that narrative changed to time for top six? Our team is bad, but it's not this bad. Get him out. And that Pogba through ball already showed what we've been missing, says Michael Sorter. Look, if Pogba's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to be on the bench. But I do think it's massively, massively hard to chuck a player like Paul Pogba into a game like this when you're 2-0 down and the game's gone. Welcome to Virtual X Storm, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Well, I'm exhausted. I feel exhausted by this game. I'm just emotionally tired. But you don't want this at Christmas, do you? You want to be relaxing a little bit, and I don't know. I mean, to be honest, Watford look more likely to get the third goal than we do. Delafou, good block there by Wan-Bissaka. Deeney, and United will clear. But it's all Watford at the moment. Now, here's Rashford. Good run. Good tackle by Watford. Watford are just more up for it than United. They've really fought us, and Delafou here nearly getting through and getting a goal, but it was a good tackle by Wan-Bissaka. Did I do something? All my super chats are getting ignored to silly bit. Mate, there's so many super chats coming in. I can't guarantee. I've always said this. I can't guarantee that every super chat will get read on a watch along because it's so busy and we're watching a game. So apologies for that. And beats Man City, then loses to Watford, says Justin hates YouTube. Well, look at that situation. Like, we beat Spurs and Man City because we're up for it. And we all said the next two games are bigger than that because it's about beating teams we can't normally beat. Everton and Watford, and at the moment we've taken 1 point from 6. It's baffling, absolutely baffling. We're building for the future, says McNelly. Please score United, says the Ghost, also known as Jesse Lingard. And this is literally what Liverpool did for a few years ago. Beat top 4 teams, lose to the bottom 5, says Fitchy. I tell you what, the Watford are fighting for their lives. Man United already on their Christmas break, says Vic Jones. Yeah. Chances of Ollie going? Slim. Very, very slim. They're obsessed with him being the right manager, but this is what happens when you've got people who don't understand football. Good ball by Luke Shaw there to find Rashford in the channel. To Martial. Pogba. Shaw. Pogba hits one from distance. It's straight at Ben Foster. 15 minutes to go. Future FC, says Vandy Candy. I'm disgusted, says Badruddin to me. And I was like you, Mark, but I'm defo Ollie out now, says Stephen Wright. Well, I just don't think he's got a plan B, to be honest with you. And I've said this so many times. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not have a plan B. And when you're consistently getting found out by the weaker teams in the league, then you've got a problem, because anybody can get up for the top 6. Like, people are easily impressed because we were the only team to stop Liverpool winning, because we beat Man City at the Etihad, because we beat Jose. People are very impressed by that. But like, if you've been watching United when we were successful, we would go away to teams like Barnsley, who are shit, and they would get a point, or sometimes they would beat us because it's their cup final. It's very easy to get up for a big game, but quality teams, if you look at Liverpool this year and the games they've won late on when they've not played well, quality teams win against these sorts of teams. And we can't do it. But we can beat the top 6. And that's not a good thing. It's the easiest thing to coach in the world. This is a cup final today, lads. Play for it. Oh, it's Watford away today. I might have to do something tactical. And he can't. He can't do it. So, they've made a bloody mistake, but they're going to stick by that mistake, and they've said that. So Ollie's in-game management is so bad, we'd expect him to put on Ashley Young because we're leaking too many goals, says Ben Mitchell. Welcome to Virtual X-Storm, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. And here's Zane, the Arsenal fan. Spend $250 million on Maguire, Pogba and Lukaku is a joke, yet United won't spend money on getting a world-class manager. Well, we have tried to do that, to be fair. We have tried to do that. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Look, it's been a hard year as a United fan. I found the transfer window in the summer exhausting, and we didn't get the midfielders that we needed to get. Ollie himself said I was happy with that midfield. I mean, it's just ridiculous. you look forward to Christmas just to have a little bit of a break. And footballing wise, we're going to be sat here thinking we're going to have a very pissed off Christmas in relation to Manchester United, aren't we? Because it's a joke. B. Krause says we're officially a mid-table club. Really, the definition of a mid-table club, we just need to accept it. Manager doesn't matter. I've said this for a while. I said it a month ago. We're a mid-table club. And Alligator says Real Madrid, Barca, Juventus, Bayern Munich, PSG. Which of these teams would allow this run of form to continue? We're not a big club anymore. Alligator, you've made 2 cracking comments today. And what's the use of the wins versus Man City and Tottenham after this? Says Pradney Wadke. Well, what I would say is, would you rather we just got beaten by Man City and Spurs and Ollie was gone? Has it actually benefited the club that he's won those games? Because ultimately it hasn't. United fans cannot change their mentality of entitlement to assume that they had once won titles would mean they have a right to win titles. Liverpool learned the hard way and suffered for years, says Neil O'Callaghan. And Humi says Jose was sacked 1 year and 4 days ago, 6th in the league and 19 points behind the top. Now we're 8th and 24 points behind. This is not progression. This is at best the same. Football is atrocious, mediocre. What pisses me off the most is that we had top 4 and we threw it away. That's the thing for me. We had top 4 last week and we've blown it away. And Watford are on the attack here. But the thing is, since we've been 2-0 down, we actually haven't really offered anything in return, have we? Right, here's Martial, who seems to have gone to the left-hand side at the moment. Nicely into Pogba, back into Martial, and it's now with Fred. To Shaw. Oh, it's a good cross by Shaw again, but nobody's answered. That's 2 crosses that Luke Shaw's put in this game. Right into the area. Look at this cross from Luke Shaw. It's wonderful. Nobody's attacking the area. And there's 5 United players in the box and nobody is attacking the space that Luke Shaw can only pass into. Shocking. Mata with the cross. Maguire straight at the bloody keeper. What are you doing, Harry? Like, how is he not scoring from there? It's right on his head. Oh, for God's sake. Forget about it. Forget about it. What is that? He's got to score that. It's right. It's the easiest header he's had this season. Shocking. Shocking, shocking. We're going to get Paul joining us for the last 10 minutes. I think I need a bit of help. Cut in, Paul, when you're ready. It's gone rather wrong for Manchester United. And, yeah.
Hello, mate.
Oh, you're right. Happy Christmas.
Yeah, living the dream.
Happy Christmas from Manchester United. I mean, look, seriously, there's a lot of people in the live comments saying, Ollie's got to get sacked. I think it's sad that we know that won't happen anyway. It literally can get as bad as being outplayed by the team bottom of the league and your job is not in jeopardy.
I don't know where we go. I don't know where we are.
Pogba
gets a fantastic chance. Great save. Cleared off the line. But, I mean... even if we come back to 2-2, Mark, which I really hope we do, Pogba banging in the brace, that'd be fantastic. What do we learn? We learn that Ollie is very naive. And we're getting broken.
That is by Wan-Bissaka there. Bloody hell.
He can do it. He can.
That would have been a red card if he'd mistimed that. Delafou would have been running through one-on-one.
Yeah, but he can't time every tackle 100% for the entire season. So that penalty was probably waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So I hope he doesn't do it again because he's been our best player this season. One of them anyway.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because I think that the spin that might come out of this game, even though it's totally unacceptable, is that oh, look at what Pogba did when he came on. We've got hope, and it's like, that's not. You can't do that. You can't say, oh, we've got Pogba back now. We're fine. What if he does his hamstring in again? You can't be so reliant on one player, and United seem to do this all the time. If we can get a goal back, we might be able to set up a grandstand finish here. But
this is. Do you remember what I said? As in at half time, if we score the first goal, we'll be okay. If we concede the first goal, we're in trouble. And for the last 10 minutes, we'll probably bring it on strong.
Yeah,
it's exactly how I predicted. The reason being, it's exactly how I predicted is because it's the same every game.
Martial into the box.
Go on, Martial.
It was a good run. Unlucky.
It was, but it was individual again. Beat 5 players and score. He's fantastic, Martial, at that, but he can't do it every game, can he?
No.
Oh,
it's going end to end now, anyway, because United have got to go open, I suppose, because otherwise the game's over. But some would say it's already over.
Well, we spent £125 million on our defence, Mark, and we don't look any better. So that should be coached and improved, surely. If we spend nearly 150, whoa,
over the bar from
Greenwood probably should have put that away, but he's a young kid. You can't blame him. You can't blame anybody. Otherwise, you get told you're negative.
It's a nice ball over the top by. It's a long ball, isn't it? And Foster's
wonderful.
He should score. I mean, if we're going to say
he should score, but what a touch! What control that was! Absolutely beautiful. And then if he put that away, that would have been an amazing goal. He's got such talent, that kid.
And also the responsibility is not on the substitutes. If they can get us out of jail, great. But
Pogba coming on, what's the point? Listen, I mean, it should have been changed at half time because we were horrible. We should have brought on Pogba, or we should have taken off Lingard. But we make the changes at 2-0 down. We put a broken Pogba on when we're 2-0 down after 70 minutes. He's changed players, but the tactics are exactly the same. He hasn't moved formation, and now we're only looking good. People in the comments are saying Pogba's made the difference. He has, but also Watford are sitting back. They want their 2-0 win, so it's allowing us to attack. We didn't dictate this. It's the change that Watford have made have allowed us to attack, not Ollie tactically changing it to allow us to play better. So he's just naive. Ollie, can he do the job to the ability that we want him to do? That's the question.
Football psychological, isn't it, as well? Watford psychologically have put a lot of effort into this. They'll feel that the winning post is there even if they drop into third gear because they're so far ahead. And United are so far behind, they're absolutely revving the engine and just blasting it. And this is psychological. Any game would be like this if one team's 2-0 up. The other team is going to start to try and do stuff in the last 10 minutes. It's not because United have suddenly started to play well. It's just the to and fro's of a game, really.
Yeah, there's plenty of comments in the live comments saying Pogba man of the match, which, to be honest...
Well, I might give him man of the match, to be fair. Although, to be fair, I think Wan-Bissaka probably was man of the match, apart from the bloody penalty. I mean, he has played very well.
Yeah, that's difficult to give him man of the match when he gave the penalty away, which created the initiative for Watford to kick on. Yeah, difficult. But what have we learnt, Mark? What have we learnt today?
Well, the coaching and the manager's not good enough, is it? I think that's what we've learnt. And I think...
but Ollie's rhetoric will kill me. The thing is, he'll try and put a negative and a positive spin on that. I think what we need from Ollie is him to sit down and give us a little bit of realism, say it how it is a little bit. He doesn't have to go in on players. He doesn't have to go in on the board. He doesn't have to go in on anyone. What he can do is lay it out straight to fans who aren't idiots. Yeah. We know what's going wrong tactically, but he's trying to, cover it up and put a little sugary topping on it. If he just gives it to us straight, I think we'll have a bit more respect for him. Well, I would anyway, because all this positivity, all this sugarcoating is beginning to grind my gears, to be honest, because I just know it's not true. And Ollie's changed his narrative to how we're playing.
Well, this is as bad as it's been all season. I mean, look, I think we're so used to it. And I've said this many times, I refuse to let my standards drop. But let's wake up to the fact that it's only monotony and being used to these shit results that is going to make United fans tonight be a little bit apathetic to it. The reality is it's never been this bad. We've deserved to lose to Watford 2-0, who are bottom of the league. It's never been this bad. So it can't, you're right, it can't just be the same old, well, we've got Pogba back now, he's like a new signing. What if Pogba does his hamstring again? You bang straight into the same problems. You can't just be about one player. So
exactly. Pogba's not the fix. It isn't. Putting Pogba at number 10 does not resolve all the other issues around him. All it will do is make Pogba look a little bit poor as a player because we know the quality he's got.
Yeah,
that's the problem. But bringing him back in the team is only going to help us because he does make a difference. He really does make a difference. He's just, he pulls players towards him, creates space because players know how dangerous he is. He gives us a lot. But is he the fix? Yeah, a fun fact I heard the other day, Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's win percentage is better when Pogba doesn't play. I'm not saying Pogba is causing that. I'm just saying, to back up my argument that Pogba isn't the be-all and the end-all fix of this.
I mean, look, I'm not allowed to predict we win anymore. But with Pogba back in the team, starting games, we probably should be beating Newcastle on Boxing Day. But the damage has already been done, hasn't it? In many ways, a great save there. Should have been a goal. Nice. Again, it seemed like Martial could have had 2 assists. Easily could have had 2 assists.
A bit more clinical, we know that, but
Rashford on the turn, Martial playing off the left, nice little ball, lovely ball into Rashford actually, and Rashford does a lot right, but should score and doesn't. If you was the boss of a company, would you give this guy more money to spend in January, says Humi? Well, they're going to, aren't they? I want to talk about that in my match reaction about that. I think it's a very good point. Why are we persisting with somebody who clearly is out of their depth? I think United, in a sentence to me, Paul, and everybody, is we're stubbornly sticking with a work experience guy who hasn't got the credentials. And that's all well and good if it turns out. But let's be honest, if he wasn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the legend of Manchester United, he'd been sacked a long time ago. We're basically keeping with him through stubbornness and sentimentality. It doesn't mean it won't work long term. It might. But he's being given way more chances than any normal manager would get. And will it work? And I think for me, I don't think it will. So, but they are going to stick with him.
I'll go with what I see. Mark. I look at, I'll try and take the emotion out of it. Emotionally, I love Ollie. I want him to succeed. Everybody does. I would like nothing more to see Ollie lifting that Premier League trophy or getting us into top 4. What I see is zero progression. Now, I could take these results if it was we were 26 shots on target, can't quite get past the winning post because we haven't got the quality. Not Martial. We keep waiting for someone to bail us out with individual excellence to get us a goal. Otherwise, we lose. Or if as soon as we concede first, we know we're going to struggle. And do you know what the worst thing is, Mark? When we went a couple of goals down, rather than getting angry, I stopped caring. That's my biggest issue.
That's the learning of expectations working, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just like, I stopped caring. I was just like, well, I knew this was going to happen, so why bother? Now that is not a feeling I want. I want to give a shit. I want to be angry, but you just become complacent, and you can't help it because of the results and because of the performances, and because nothing's changed, and there's so much wrong. You can't put your finger on it. It's very difficult. So sorry for the negativity, guys, but there's a lot to be fixed. There's, and it goes deep. The river runs deep.
I'm going to be doing my match reaction straight after this, talking about player ratings, talking about the future, talking about whether Solskjaer needs to go. George Ramos, interestingly, says, we've been poor today, but really it was just one of those days, which is it's quite an interesting...
quite a few of those days.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those days. I just think it's not good enough from United, to be honest with you. Late free kick here for United. Yellow card. Ollie says expect more inconsistency and then gets blissed by Watford, says Southpaw Love Sports. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ollie's got to say about this, but I'm sure the whistle's going to blow in a sec, so I'll leave you to it, Mark. I'll see you on the match reaction. All right, Paul. Thanks for that, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Take it easy.
Thanks to Paul there, one of our moderators. We have got 13 games in a row since a clean sheet, worst since 1971, says the Booknook fan. This has got to be one of our worst ever starts to a season as well. I think we're probably back in 1986 territory now, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure on that. We've got a chance for a free kick late on here. I wouldn't be surprised if we put it in, actually, but let's wait and see, because it's a decent opportunity for Fred or Rashford. There's not going to be enough time to do anything else, I don't think, but Potter's won 0-2, says Rusty Balloon Nut. So United with a good opportunity for a free kick here, but we're literally into stoppage time. Mata wide. It's the sort of Mata area, that as well, and he has put it wide. Remember, I was talking about Ancelotti and you said no way. Now he's in bloody Everton and we stuck here with tactical inept Ollie. I can't believe that our board lost Carlo, says Sergej Mamedov. I can't see what Ollie's excuse is going to be after this game. I've got to be absolutely honest with you. I really don't get what it will be, but and there is the final whistle. Manchester United lose 2-0 to Watford. Stunning, absolutely stunning, but that is how the cookie crumbles, and that's certainly how it crumbles for Manchester United. Right, get over on the match reaction. The link is in the video description, I believe it is. We'll be talking about player ratings. We'll be talking about whether it's time for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to go. We may as well just get onto there and start talking about it on there. I'll see you in 60 seconds. We'll be live on the match reaction stream. Link in the video description, or go through the homepage. Something's got to change. That's how I'm going to start off the stream. I'll see you on there in a moment.